Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Incredible Sim Racing Championship, sponsored by Race Car Graveyard for the Truck Series on Monday night here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Big thanks to one of the amazing sponsors that allows ISRC to pound on these races. Start things off with Race Car Graveyard. Race Car Graveyard is the place to get your diecast collection started. With 124th to 164th NASCAR diecast, they've got you covered. New, used, customs, Go get them now on Instagram to order and use the promo code RCGY for 10% off. Tonight, drivers get set. It's season 3, race number 3 here at Gateway, otherwise known as Worldwide Technology Raceway. And this race should be epic. But if you want to know what something that was epic and incredible to watch, that was last week. Race number 2, the drivers went to Homestead, and the Miami 225 did not disappoint. So let's look back before we get tonight's race and take a look at the Miami 225. Tonight, for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, race number 2, the Miami 225 is green as Mark Whitley, as well as that Thomas Green, take us down into turn number 1.
And risk this for points.
And right in front of Tom Bourne, and it all started with Cedric Hunter as they continue to pile in the chaos. More drive.
That would have been a little bit more scary moment. You got Jonathan Smith there. No braking, going to go around on the front straightaway 360, and he slides back up into the track. Somebody's going to clobber him, and there's a huge hit.
And it's his teammate and team owner, Tanner Johnson, that comes in late.
Elbows out racing, as we would say here.
No! Oh, Mitch, right into Ferraro, right in front as well. Going to be the 3 of Anthony Gaudio, and yellow flag waves.
Could not throw. I mean, you could throw a blanket over the whole entire field.
The GT's Irizarry. Braid spins again, gets into Wilson, and it's pandemonium with lap 60 starting.
They have it runs with Gaudio down low here.
Smith into Kyle Rochelle and more, and Danny Cochran back up into the field. Oh no, big one strikes again. Zach Wilson going to be involved with another one, as that will conclude our stage break.
Really fight hard for positions, and oh no, Trevor Earhart turns Brandon Colley head first into the wall.
Done, and it just is a cluster, and now the yellow flag waves.
And there it is. Oh, is the wrecking again in the one? Gets to him here. Oh, is the caution's out.
It's John. That's going to be John Forbes spun around, and a change up here, Zach. The gap for our leader, it is starting to shrink. A little bit of changing. I think Ethan Smith, he's hoping he's got a big enough gap. 10 laps to go. Anthony Gaudio's starting to close in. That of Cedric Hunter starting to find a little bit more pace. Over to the inside, he pops back up. He's got to figure out how to get into the corner, and Anthony Gaudio right there, almost making contact. And watch out for the outside run. Here comes Cedric Hunter, who's going to try to get a massive surge out of turn number 2 if we can keep up the speed. As our front 2, they're hoping not to wreck each other and give this to Cedric Hunter. 2 laps to go. It's practically a lap and a half. Anthony Gaudio pumping. He'll move. He'll try to get to the back bumper. Drifts up, throwing this race away as we're coming up to a ride rad white flag. Top 3, all within 3/10. Wiggle, bump. Let's try to almost go 3 wide on the white flag.
Here he comes. Could this be a Kyle Busch moment up top? Cedric Hunter on the outside of the 0-0, but the 3 goes around on the bottom. This is going to be intense.
Flanking issues by Ethan Smith, blocking up the 13. Cedric Hunter's hoping to find the move, but the pass for the lead was made. We're gonna have a lap car. Late block Gaudio to Smith. Bump, run, right in front of Hunter. It's gonna be 2 wide for the lead. Cedric Hunter's gonna have an opportunity to drive it down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. He bumped Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it. Miami 225 is all for Hello Kitty. Cedric Hunter wins.
What a finish. Oh. I tell you what, right there, you better send that down to top 10, guys. That right there, finish. Oh.
Incredible racing do get to be seen, and that right there, Cedric Hunter stealing the win on the last lap, and he's been doing that a lot throughout this week. We'll see if he can get it done again here at Gateway. Thank you again for joining us. This is Freaky Fast Broadcasting, giving you all the coverage of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, as well as Robert Moyer in the background, giving us all the coverage. And Zach, last week at Homestead, Miami certainly gave us a treat. Here tonight, we'll see if it can give us something pretty similar, or if it's going to be a little bit more difficult for these drivers.
Oh, it's going to be difficult indeed, Sam. Heading here to the Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. And man, here in Missouri, it's an interesting racetrack they got down here, man. It's a tough place. Very, very similar to somewhat of a Darlington, egg-shaped, different corners, on different sides of the racetrack. 1 and 2 being the more acute, tight corner down there that drivers are going to have a tough time. Probably going to be shifting a lot. We're seeing here tonight down there. And in 3 and 4, very flat, long corner. Very similar somewhat to the Milwaukee Mile down there. So going to be interesting to see how they get it done here tonight. But, this track, it brings out the tempers because it's so tough to pass. I think we could see some beating and banging and some upset drivers here after this 125 laps is over tonight.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about this track, I named it Frankenstein of courses, but for these drivers, it's time to see how well they can conquer this track, as we're going to be seeing drivers on course. Mark Whitley in the 77 going to be out there qualifying, but Zach, interesting for the 77, he's done a start and park the last 2 weeks. Here tonight, it's now going to be an asterisk if he'll stay or if he's going to do a similar start and park.
Yeah, this will be a question we'll have to see. We would love to see him out there stay because he was lead last week at Homestead when he pulled over. That had to kind of be tough for you to do. When you're leading the race, it's tough to pull over and say, man, we'll come back and give him in a few weeks. But he's shown the speed and just the little bit of laps he's done this season. Can't wait for him to be able to fully get his full season rolling here. Is right now sitting second of part of the times that have been set so far. And Danny Cochran there, 34.219, and I was hearing around the parts from a few drivers that the first lap is seeming to be the quickest lap, as that second lap seems to fall off a little bit with the tires.
Yeah, the tire wear is going to be something very hard and abrasive, especially on the fact that this is a racetrack. Zach, we were talking about as well, the course fits kind of similarly well for road course racers, and I think a lot of the drivers are going to be top of the board to watch out when we go to those road courses for later on in the season. They're going to be someone to watch out for here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this is a good warm up for him heading into Sonoma next week. So, shifting gears here tonight. We see that a lot in the next gen Cup Series car at all the tracks really now. It's a kind of a common thing that drivers have gotten used to shifting. But these trucks, it's been very many times you'll see them just stick to fourth. We're never usually shifting in these trucks, but this track you have to utilize it. The super long straightaways. When you come down here to 1 and 2. The car just does not want to turn, so you have to get into that lower gear, use the engine braking to get the car turned, and then if you stay in fourth, you're in such a low RPM that the power of the truck is not at the right point of the RPM range and that torque curve that you need to have to be able to pull up off those corners and get acceleration. So drivers going down to third, trying to get as much speed down these back straightaways to carry down into that flat 3 and 4, but it's so tough to pass here, Sam, especially due to the groove. I mean, you see here in 3 and 4, most drivers are going to stay pretty near that curb. You don't want to get on top of the curb. It can get pretty dangerous if you do. But down in 1 and 2 is very interesting because it's more the middle groove of the racetrack. It's not a bottom dominant track. It's very much in that middle groove. Drivers that are going to make passes are going to have to make the bottom work if they want to get by someone.
As drivers are getting themselves finished up here with qualifying, we got 1 minute and 30 seconds left so far. 26 drivers have put in a time, but 11 of our 40 drivers potentially here tonight, Zach, all coming into this race with penalties or EOLs to start this race off. This list is massive for the majority of them, and we have also got 1 race suspension going to be given to that of Trevor Earhart, but the rest of these drivers, a couple of them, are going to be top-tier drivers to watch out for.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. A lot of these drivers trying to come through the back of the field. So we'll have a lot of them back there, like you said, around 11 of them there, starting at the back of that field. So that is a tough ordeal for guys. But it's early in the season. This is a great time, I feel like, for the admins to get on control of these penalties. These guys are testing the waters and testing the limits of how much can you push that gray area. And right now we're seeing guys get definitely bit by that here tonight as they're going to start out back.
We'll go over that list after we get our results finished up. We got 30 seconds left before we get to see our results for that of the Laugh Lap qualifying results. And the grid sponsor is the Laugh Lap, just a meme page with addition of racing action combined. Come take a laugh around the track. Laugh with us. And go find that Laugh on Instagram. It's the_laugh_lap. Go check them out for some great comedy on Instagram. As tonight's race is the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. We'll touch on more on why the name is so ridiculous, but we're so excited for it. It's Gateway, and the drivers are set. They're ready to go. It's 125 laps. Let's take a look at where the drivers will start things up. With no surprise, they've been practicing all week long. It's Ethan Smith, and the driver that sponsored this race, it's Cody Reed to his outside for row number 1, as well as going to be having that of Danny Cocker and Nick Crawford in row 2 in 3rd and 4th position. John Forbes, Tom Bourne, Trenton Jump, Isaac Shelley, Zach Wilson, and really been finding some extra speed on qualifying. It's Alexander Light in 10th place.
In the 11th position is going to be the 94, Brandon Colley. Alongside him in 12th is going to be Nolan Hicks. On the next row is going to be Jarrett Talmadge. Alongside him will be Mark Whitley at 13th and 14th for those two. 15th is going to go to Anthony Gaudio after a great finish last week there in second there. And 16th is going to go to Cedric Hunter in the 13 machine. 17th is going to be GT Rosari. 18th is going to go to Noah Steele. 19th is going to go to the 72 of Jonathan Smith. And rounding out our top 20 is the 29 Logan Brady.
21st going to be Ryan Ferraro with that of Joshua Freed in 22nd place. Aaron Krolick's going to be in 23rd. Kyle Rochelle in 24th. Gregory Shaw in 25th. Carl Pooler in 26th. Thomas Green going to be one of the drivers with an EOL to start this race off in 27th. That of Christian Gomez going to be in 28th. Jason Tamer in 29th. And finishing out our top 30, it's Dakota Moniz.
Dakota Moniz finishing out of the top 30. 31st is going to go to Eric Stamp. 32nd is going to be Martin Morales. 33rd is going to go to Kerry Tribute. 34th is going to be Tanner Johnston. 35th is going to go to Christopher Norris in the 38 machine. 36th is going to be Robert Schmuck. 37th is going to be Gio Turpin. 38th is going to be Tyler Dingler. And 39th is going to be Robert Hattenbach. Is 40th on the list here is going to be Christian Gomez rounding out that field. As we're going to have some drivers dropping back here with some EOLs also.
EOLs, reasoning why them. Starting things off, Tanner Johnson, because of ARCA braking multiple times last week at Miami, will be getting an EOL, as well as ARCA braking for Christopher Norris, ARCA braking for John McAdams, as well as pit road violations. There were quite a few of those going to be tacked on with Robert Hattenbach, as well as Ollie Fonseca going to be having pit road violations, Aaron Krolick pit road violations, as well as Tyler Dangler pit road violations, ARCA braking for Robert Schmock, a restart violation going to be given to Thomas Green, as well as another restart violation going to Jason Tamer, and our final penalty going to go to Gio Turpin in the 48, for that of a pit road violation. For those pit road violations, those were drivers that were going through too many pit boxes while trying to go through into their pit box or out of their pit box. So drivers have been penalized. They've been set in their positioning, but race admins recognizing, let's keep this race clean. Gateway here, very similar, like Zach said, to Milwaukee, which for this race, drivers and admins are kind of a little bit terrified on the fact that this could be a wreck fest type of an evening. Drivers got to be very concerned on trying to get back into the throttle on the exit of the corners. But tonight, they're hoping to bring out a little bit of fun, keep it green if possible. But if the yellows come, try to keep those tempers low and understand this racetrack is difficult. It's hard, but it should be fun. And for the drivers up front, they've got some fun schemes for themselves, because tonight, it's the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. Race number 3 is green, as that of Ethan Smith going to be good down below, diving it into turn number 1, holding off the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's going to clear for that position, but Danny Cochran in the 31, they're going to slide up in the second, as Cody Reed going to slot back to third, as the racing there from fourth on back is side by side.
That was a great shot, showing everyone trying to just stay calm. Yes, we're side by side through the corners, and drivers will be able to stay side by side, 2-3 wide at moments, but it's the exit of the corner where drivers truly have their biggest struggles, as well as entry getting onto the brakes. As Ethan Smith clean out of the corner, he'll lead lap number 1, but that of Jarrett Talmadge, got to be careful, as he's going to be having that of Light and others behind.
Yeah, you also got Mark Whitley there on the bottom lane there, trying to fight his way forward. He's got Nolan Hicks there up top in the 86 to 3 of Gaudio there. Some really fast trucks right in this mix. Ooh, Mark Whitley, big moment there from him there as we jumped on board. As you see him fighting the wheel on exit, losing the rear traction. That's the thing, in third gear, you're going to light those tires up a lot faster, as Tom is trying to clear the 97, just can't do it down here. And it just shows you it's so tough to pass here at Gateway. But it looks like Light slips up for a moment there off of 4.
Flips up a little bit for himself, but taking off and running clean for these first 2 laps. We're into the middle of lap number 3, and want to let the audience know, the drivers already know this, but there is a stage break. That's going to be at the end of lap 55 for these drivers. Only the top 10 get bonus points, and yellow flag strikes. Isaac Shelley going to be the first driver, dropping down low, and major issues coming out of turn number 2 for that of the 98.
Yeah, it looks like personally, just going back for myself and get a quick look, looks like he got a little bit out the groove. I think we'll see is he's definitely lost that car there and got a little bit of contact with one of the other trucks. Luckily for him though, no real hard damage other than a little bit of light contact to the inside wall. It looks like it's actually going to be a decent amount, but they should be able to try to get that worked out. As unfortunately spinning off a two there early for Isaac Shelley up front.
Yeah, and also want to give note, we expected the potential of 40 drivers. We only had that of 38. Mark Morales Jr. and Christian Gomez both were not able to make it to the grid as 38 drivers are rolling. But Isaac Shelley, pretty much a wreck that drivers are going to be, we're going to be seeing a lot here tonight of just losing the rear end slightly. And this truck, the balance, if you get loose, that balance and weight shifts back and forth so aggressively, it's difficult to save.
It really does. When you try to correct that truck, and when you're going left, if the rear end kicks out, your first thought, steer to the right, counter steer, to catch that slide. And a lot of times, what you'll have happen is those front tires will catch grip immediately, and you'll shift right back to the right and be head first into the wall. And then you have guys going back left. So, like you said, Sam, it's just the weight shifting back and forth, and it's tough to deal with for sure. As these guys are going to have to manage that for sure all night long. As we have a few takers on pit road. One of those, of course, is Isaac Shelley. Eric Stamp looks like he'll come down and get topped off on fuel. Along with him is Tanner Johnston there from that Color Till Graphics team there. They're excited to come down and get them some fuel. But, coming to that lap 55 stage, they should be good on fuel. I got a few readings on fuel here coming into tonight, and it looks like about 56 to 57 laps is what these drivers are going to be able to do on a full stint here. And, they should be able to stretch it a little farther than that if they try to save something. But they should be no doubt easily making it to that lap 55.
It could also just be a sensation of, I want to get out of the way, let's drop to the back and keep ourselves out of trouble. That could be a mindset some of these drivers are thinking because of the potential of a lot of wrecks coming up here tonight. Drivers knowing that they don't have a fast repair. This is the truck they've got all night long, so if you get damage, you've got to come into pit road and repair it as much as you feel like you need to until you get to require damage where you're forced to come into pit road. But I think that could be the call for those drivers further back for Johnson as well as Stamp.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You don't want to get, right here in the middle of all of this. I think if you're a driver, especially that you feel, hey, right now my pace is probably around the 15th, the 25th, the 30th range. There's not really no reason to go up there and get in the fight, I would say, right now in this first stage because it's Gateway. We expect a lot of carnage to be happening, like we've said. And, that could be very well what those two teammates that are doing, trying to get themselves out back and in that safe spot on the track. Give you a little bit of room to slow down and react to what's happening ahead of you. So we'll see how it works out for the guys out back. But great start there, that front spot. Danny Cochran was very aggressive there to get the second. We'll see what Cody Reed can do this time. Is he's going to be lined up on that inside there with his teammate Ethan Smith up on the lead spot.
Going to be finding themselves side by side. Going to be that of Ethan Smith and Danny Cochran as they get themselves situated on this restart as lights are still on. Going to be seeing potentially if we're going to get a delayed restart for the drivers. So we'll have an extra lap, which gives us time to thank some of the amazing sponsors that help sponsor the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. That of the LP24 Clothing. LP24 Clothing is a store that offers great quality as well as affordable pricing. Whether it's hats, hoodies, t-shirts, or beanies, find whatever you're looking for in all colors and sizes. Follow at LP24 Clothing on Instagram for more information and make your order today. Thank you to LP24 Clothing for being one of the main sponsors for that of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Zach, getting ready for this restart, having an extra lap of cooling down these tires. Positive or negatives for the drivers on this restart?
It really depends. It can go either way. Sometimes these cooling down phases can bring the grip level back, bring those tire pressures more to a stable point from where they were before. But especially when we have a short little burst like that, it sometimes can actually really shock the tires. And right here could be a little bit of a less grip moment than you really think. So drivers are going to have to be very, very interested going down into one here about what's going to happen because it's kind of unknown right now for how the grip level will be when they enter that first corner.
Who is going to be able to get a good run? And with 39 drivers, Mark Morales Jr. was able to log in and will be on pit road on this restart. But it's going to be Ethan Smith, Danny Cochran, Cody Reed, John Forbes, Nick Crawford, your top 5 as we are green, and a great launch for Ethan Smith as well as Cody Reed. Danny Cochran kind of got caught sleeping, but he's getting help from the Blackjack run driver of John Forbes, and you can tell the teammates, they're all changing up the colors. It's the red, the pink, and that of the blue, all trying to march their way past the 31 of that of Danny Cochran. And Cochran's doing well, but further back, you can just tell the drivers side by side in the middle of the pack. It's a dangerous spot to be. And Zach, I would say it's a little bit closer to a minefield out here. You never know what you're going to get.
You do never know what you're going to get. I tell you, you're getting hard battled all around these spots. I mean, we had second change back and forth hands between Cochran and Reed, but back here, it's a log jam. Anybody trying to find spaces? We got another caution on the racetrack.
And batch also going to be Schmock. Both spun around, 2 different incidences. And Isaac Shelley as well involved late into this wreck. And Shelley already calling it a day as the 99 of Hatton Batch found himself being spun around initially, bringing out the yellow. As we take a look here for the 99, going to be coming out turn number 4. Watch out for the 0-1 and Ollie Fonseca in the 24. Just a little bit of contact, which then makes the 99 make contact, get loose, and then gets absolutely destroyed in the back bumper by Tribune, and that's what sends the 99 around. But this is the part that you hate to see. Schmock gets clipped. Then it's Isaac Shelley, just nowhere to go, as well as seeing some other drivers of Tanner Johnson able to bob and weave his way through. But Zach, kind of an incident that we were expecting to see at some point out of turn 4.
Yeah, that was a good old accordion effect right there. It all started with Fonseca having a little bit of moment there with Kralik getting in the back of him. That caused Kralik to have the checkup from there. Hatton Batch got into him. They got Kralik loose. Hatton Batch had to back out of it then once more for Kralik getting loose. And from there, like you said, Kerry Tribune just kind of came in there and finished the deal. So, unfortunately for Hatton Batch, he was trying to check up for Kralik, but the drivers behind him couldn't get it done. And that's usually what you see when the accordion effect happens in incidents like that. It's usually the 4th or 5th driver in the row that kind of isn't got the most, awareness of what's probably going on ahead of them, and that kind of deal happens. So easy to happen, and it probably just Tribune couldn't really even see it happening. Sometimes these trucks are tough to see ahead of that truck ahead of you. So we'll see. That probably happened a few more times than I'd imagine.
Oh, you hate to see it. Isaac Shelley purposely saying he is done after being involved with that wreck, but not on purpose. Internet issues strike. Danny Cochran, he has been out of the server and now officially disconnected and out of this race. Will be going at least 1 lap down, might be more by the time that we go green.
His season just keeps turning upside down for himself. Is just, having great runs so far in those first 2 races. Been involved in major incidents that took him out, and now again here tonight, something out of it, none of his control is going to take Danny Cochran out of this, Sam, and he's going to be in a huge hole exiting the 3rd race. He's going to be looking for a win very soon to try to help climb out of that spot.
Yeah, coming into this race, Danny Cochran 38th in points. His best finish this season was last week at Homestead, 33rd position, but he was already involved with the wreck almost immediately in that race, as Danny Cochran's hoping to get back into the session, but he's going to now be 2 laps down, and he is not even reconnected at all. That could be a power outage, computer failure, so many different factors that we do not have confirmation about, but that is kind of the randomization that comes from real life racing. It's just on the virtual side of things.
Yeah, no, it's about pretty much as I would say like an engine failure for on the real life racing side of things. It's kind of just out of your own. There's nothing you can control. I mean, when stuff like that happens, it's out of our control unless you own an internet company or a power company and have that type of pull. Maybe you have some type of say in it, but most people don't. So I'd imagine Danny, unfortunately, like you said, it's most likely something that took him completely out of it because, like I said, he hasn't attempted to get back in. Maybe at some point it'll come back for him, but got to feel for that guy. It's been tough ordeal for him. There is looks like we got Zach Wilson here on the driver cam there in the bottom corner.
We do. Zach Wilson currently going to be starting in 8th place on this restart. Get a sense of what the drivers are feeling on these starts as well as going into turn number 1. Zach Wilson comes in 24th in points. Not as big of a hole that Danny Cochran comes into, but this 51 looking for a solid finish. He's looked good at the last couple of weeks, but now here tonight, hoping for a better run as, well, once again, get a delayed restart for these drivers. Kind of been a traditional thing to see, but I was running with these drivers the other night and kind of getting a sense on the restarts. It's really easy to get a delayed start, especially with how large of a field we have and drivers coming in and out of pit road. Those can easily reset and cause these drivers to have an extra lap or two on the restarts, which helps on the number count of cautions, but takes away the green flag racing that I think a lot of these drivers want to be having.
Yeah, they definitely want as many green flag laps if you're a driver. It gives you the most ability to get something done, and be interested to see what Zach Wilson can get done here because, like you said, he's in some over the hole in points. But thinking about to Daytona, I mean, he was leading the last lap of that race there and got caught up in that incident there. So could have been what ifs for him, and had a great run at Homestead also. So just couldn't get it finished there for him. So we'll see how he comes into Gateway here tonight. Having a decent start though for him right here is looks like we're right on board for this restart, and can confirm Danny Cochran has connected, or at least attempted to connect back into the server.
Yeah, he's not officially into the race just yet. 3 laps down. It's going to be at least 4 or more by the time that he officially gets into his vehicle and starts moving. But it's time for us to get a restart here tonight for Cody's super epic and cool Gateway 125. It's going to be seen up front. Green flag racing. Ethan Smith, Cody Reed going to be your front 2 as we ride on board with Zach Wilson as he heads down in turn number 1. Again, riding in that 7th, 8th place position. He's got a lot of drivers behind him, as well in front. It almost gets bumped and moved by that of the 17 behind.
Yeah, Jared Talmadge there coming up for the back bumper there, giving him a little bit of a hello there. Is here in the corner. We've seen Zach Wilson immediately downshift into that corner. Now going to look to the inside of Tom Bourne ahead of him. We're going to back out of that though, but the shifting is so critical here at Gateway. You'll probably see him do it once more again here down into turn 1, shifting that truck from 4th gear all the way into 3rd.
And confirmed that of Danny Cochran back into the session. He's moving. He's going to be 3 laps down as see drivers diving it down low, and that's going to be Trenton Jump. You see for the Color Teal graphics team ahead, trying to get by and move into the top 5 position with Nick Crawford. Crawford doing a decent job, as we also see that on screen. This is Tom Bourne and Zach Wilson side by side as drivers picking and choosing how aggressive you want to be. As Nick Crawford now aiming to try to change things up, but now we see a lot of the drivers cycling through this front, basically 10, all still very close to one another.
Yeah, everybody right now very, very close as Wilson's still trying to make that pass on Tom Bourne. Like we said, we see Mark Whitley starting to come into the picture as he's broke up into 9th there position for himself. So definitely some big movers, and Nick Crawford having a good run. Oh, yeah, Zach Wilson there. Yeah, he had a big moment there. It's going to be 3 wide down the back stretch. We got Brandon Colley in the middle there with Tom Bourne up top. Can Colley go through the middle there in that 94 machine? I think he does get it done. And yes, he does there. Coming off of 4, Brandon Colley gets the 2-for-1 deal there with the mistake with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald's always has a 2-for-1 deal somewhere, and he certainly is happy to sponsor that by McDonald's. Into turn number 1, drivers are getting a little bit more aggressive. Mark Whitley now going to be trying to go for the pursuit here, as here is that of Nolan Hicks. Hicks certainly hoping for a better run. He was taken out early after last week's run, showed some pace to be up in our top 10. Hicks, one of the drivers that needs a lot of points, but we drop even further back. Here are some of the drivers that are trying to recover after penalties that they had to serve. Call it that of Fuller as well as Kralik. They're going to be side by side. These are drivers within the top 24 to 25. Then behind them, we find that of Turpin as well as Eric Stamp and others trying to figure out how you move forward during this race. It's looking like a slogfest on drivers trying to make any passes.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to make that bottom lane work, especially down in 1 and 2. Everybody wants to fight for that middle lane, and it gets real tough. And really, the outer lane in 3 and 4 is really not that bad. So we're seeing some good racing for sure. But Alexander Light here looks like he's all over the back bumper. Tom Bourne, who's really fallen back from that 6th starting position as he's gotten stuck behind Hicks. It looks like in Talmadge.
And hearing the drivers talk about how much tire wear can get burnt off, and obviously frustration is going to be mounting for some of these drivers if you're just too aggressive and just aren't sure how to save your tires here. Hard on the brakes, aggressive out of the corners, getting in a lower gear. A lot of different factors that are going to be showing signs of the tires are not on your side, but the drivers do have 4 extra sets of pit road to work with, as our stage break again is at that of end of lap 55. still a lot of racing to go as we're coming up to that lap 20.
Yeah, and you bring up the tire wear, Sam, that is such a critical thing. That could be Tom Bourne's plan here to drop back a little bit, save a little tire. But it's so hard to do that at a place like this, especially, as a driver, you really worry about, will we get that long of a run tonight? Will we ever see that point? Because this place is so beaten banging. Those little tamer, they're going to make the pass there. It looks like on, I believe that's Freed there down the back straightaway. It looks like Shaw maybe going to follow him through, but just such a tough place to pass that, you get a lot of beating and banging happen, and that's usually when the cautions come out. So it's tough to try to save tire and hold on to positions. So drivers are trying to manage probably, but they're trying to manage just as much as not trying to lose time.
I try not to lose as much time as possible, but a driver that's doing great, that's Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, as well as John Forbes. Those top three all within a second of one another up front, but you're still seeing the madhouse, the drivers that are usually putting on a show. 20th on back. Used to be that of 25th, back to 30th. That was the marching grounds and the area where we would see the most action. Now it's going to be in our 20 on back area where we're seeing drivers side by side. Jonathan Smith and Eric Kralik starting to get racy with one another, and it seems like that 0-1. He is trying to march his way forward. He's done a decent job of trying to save his tires, but oh man, aggressive contact, holding on, is going to be that of Smith.
Oh man, that was so close, and right there, Kralik locking up that left front tire, not trying to get into him there. That's a great job by him to do that, man. I got to give him some credit there, not getting into Smith, but Smith cut him no slack there. He's fighting hard there as he's going to try to focus his sights on Shaw there in that 35 machine, but great racing going back here already on lap 23.
We talk about drivers that are trying to make their march forward. One of them going to be that of Christopher Norris in the 38. Biggest mover so far here. Zach up 17 positions. He's kind of been able to get past the chaos that's behind him. That's where we've been seeing a lot of the drivers being side by side and just getting into one another. But 38, it's early aggression based on how much it's going to be bringing on his tires here in the next 10 to 15 laps as the drivers are starting to make their moves forward, as well as another driver that's done a great job moving forward, that of Thomas Green, which I think for Thomas Green, lucked out because he did not put a qualifying time down, and a lot of drivers didn't. The admins decided not to give an EOL to go to the end of the line because of his higher I rating. He was able to actually keep his better positioning than he should have had.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting there, for how they let that line up a little bit. So we'll let them all figure that out. But Thomas Green, they're definitely battling his way forward. He's going to be passing Kyle Rochelle, showing a lot of speed. So might have to watch out for him here. As he was pretty quick in practice, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him right up in that mix. Looks like he also got the Hello Kitty machine there, center corner bottom. I looked on that 13 machine. He's got a heavy amount of nose damage on that truck.
Caution.
Caution's out.
It's Brandon Colley who's going to be driver, and you see drivers trying to slow down, but it's going to be Brandon Colley just get aggressive into turn number 1, and 94 spins a little bit more than 45 degrees, but able to save the machine and not bring out the yellow. I mean, brought out the yellow, but didn't get into the wall like he should have.
Yeah, he got very lucky not to get in the wall, and I think he got a little bit of contact to Trenton jumping the 45. Didn't help Trenton there at all with Brandon Colley getting right into the back on there, and Brandon Colley just getting a little bit overzealous there on entry, and maybe Trenton back in that corner up trying to make sure that truck would turn, and Brandon Colley just got right in the back of him. So unfortunately for those two, they went sliding through the corner, and that's going to bring out a caution that everybody seemed to save.
Well, the save, hold on, as driver is going to slow down. This is a critical moment for the drivers right now. Zach, of who comes into pit road. We're past halfway for the stage break. Again, stage break going to be at the end of lap 55. Who comes in, who doesn't? You see a cluster of drivers going to the on-axis road, pit road, for some of the drivers up inside of our top 10.
Ooh, this is going to get very interesting now with all these drivers deciding to hit pit road. So it's going to look like we got GT Rosari. It looks like also Tom Bourne there. Got the 8 machine, Noah Steele. Also going to have Mark Whitley. Also going to have Trenton Jump and Nick Crawford, I believe, and Nolan Hicks. So it looks like those are going to be the trucks that hit pit road. There is they're going to have a long track back up there because of the amount of other guys that stayed out here. But a lot of group from behind them also come down too. So it's going to be interesting to see what's these tires and what difference it will be when we see here on this restart.
However, I love the fact that we got this yellow, and knowing that we have another one coming up at our stage break. Danny Cochran going to get a lucky dog for this run, and we'll be now down to just 2 laps down once he gets with his service. See the 31 to the high side, going to be driving by everybody to get himself at least 1 lap back. As drivers into pit road, Nick Crawford, Mark Whitley, Hicks, Steele, Bourne, these drivers all going to be back in 19th. Back to all the way to 35th position, as Gio Turpin has called it a night potentially here for the 48, who's been involved in a couple of wrecks. I take that back. He was just sitting in pit road for quite a long time. Taking a look on how he got his damage, as we're going to have a total of 38 drivers still going to be trying to run here tonight out of the 39 that have started up the race at some point.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. It looks like Nick Crawford going to be back in 19th, so we'll see how the tires fire off for these guys. And a lot of people talked about tire wear, and they said it was a big deal, so I expect some fireworks to fly here on this next upcoming restart. And the question is how valuable is this set right here that they're using now going to be? I mean, you got 4 sets in pit road, now they're going to have 3. Once this stage caution comes, the way the race is going to play out will be very interesting with cautions, but you're probably only looking to use another 2 sets after that stage, so it'll be questionable for the guys that have used this set now. How valuable will it be, and how much will they want to have it later? But we'll see, because this place can play out with cautions, and cautions will benefit the guys who save the tires.
Drivers expected to go green with 30 laps into this race. Again, stage break at the end of lap 55. Right now, it's been all that of Ethan Smith and Cody Reed, with John Forbes behind in 3rd place. Zach Wilson's going to be in 4th, and Jared Talmadge going to be your top 5, with Brandon Colley, Alex Light, as well as Thomas Green, Kyle Rochelle, and Cedric Hunter are going to be your top 10 runners. But Zach, it's been all the Ethan Smith up front, but when that yellow came out, I was just about to bring it up. Cody Reed was starting to close in on our leader.
It really was. When they put this race on the schedule, some reason Gateway just stuck out to me as a track that would be like an Ethan Smith stomping ground. He's had great runs at these really weird tracks. It's just really seemed to be the places that he's been the best at, the most oddball tracks. And Ethan Smith, though, here tonight, there's a reason why I think he sponsored this race. He knew something was up. He loves this place for a reason, and it's showing here already early in this race. He's going to be able to put the pressure on his teammate. And they also got John Forbes there. I mean, that whole Blackjack Racing team, 1, 2, 3 right now, they got to be loving that, Sam.
Yeah, and, we always talk about practice makes perfect in a lot of different sports and events. When you hear that, drivers also, there's sometimes where they kind of scoff at it. There's like, you just come out with the talent. Sometimes drivers just show up on race day, not a lot of practice. But I got to say, these Blackjack racing drivers have put into practice. Once they knew they were sponsoring this race, it has been all go preparing for Gateway. And so it doesn't really surprise me that they're the top 3 currently. The question is, for anyone else that's been getting set up or maybe didn't put the practice in, who's going to evolve to find that extra speed late in this race? Well, let's find out as we're back to Green Flag Racing for that of the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125 here for race number 3, and it's going to be seeing Ethan Smith taking off, but Cody Reed getting a huge push from that of John Forbes.
Yeah, and Wilson going to take advantage of this the most there around the top there in that 51 machine. He's going to try to take 3rd from John Forbes. Great run off the 2nd corner there for Zach Wilson. He's going to try to clear, but not going to be able to do it. Here's down the back straightaway. Talmadge back there in the 17 trying to make a move. It looks like, actually, that's Thomas Green on Talmadge.
Yeah, and Thomas Green, honestly, he has been flying through this field right now. Look at the fastest laps he's put down so far. He hasn't put down the craziest laps because he's been behind other cars and has been just slowly, methodically moving. The 15 is looking good as we ride on board the front bumper of Jared Talmadge, looking at his teammate of the Planet Sim driver. And as well, Talmadge, he's got to stay high because that is Cedric Hunter, our winner from last week. He's putting the pressure on the 17.
Yeah, that 13 machine there trying to take position, but he's going to slap back in behind him. They're going to see from this rear view there. You also got Alexander Light in that background. He's having a great run, let's say again. He qualified up there and he's sticking around that top 10. So great job for Light, hoping to continue that through the rest of the night. But this onboard look looks like Cedric Carter's going to try to make another move.
trying to set up where will he place himself. It looks like he'll just stay in line for now, but certainly he's keeping it as close as possible. And then from that about 15th, 16th on back, it's side by side almost all the way through. And the main reason why, drivers with fresh tires are coming. Mark Whitley leading that charge with Noah Steele as well as Nick Crawford all trying to go as well.
Yeah, and there you go. See Nick Crawford there trying to make this happen as Tom Bourne goes around outside of Eric Stamp there. As everybody trying to stampede through. Like you said, it's being led by Mark Whitley. He's up to Christopher Norris for that 12th position now, and he's really charging his way through it. It looks like, I gotta say, Mark Whitley, 33 laps in tonight, must be sticking around. So this must be his first full race of the season. Yeah,
I was gonna say, if he's here after 3 cautions, I would say he's here to stay. Because usually if he's got another race he has to go to, he leaves and does a start and park. But tonight it was questionable if he was able to stay. And right now, he is putting the hurt on some of these drivers that are on those older tires. Fresh rubber must feel nice as the 77 tries to duck it down low and will have positioning into turn 1 here on that of Gregory Shaw. And Shaw will be staying high, gives the opening, and now the 77 into the top 10. 10 more drivers to go before he gets that lead.
Wow, and it's stacked up really behind him. There's a wrecking. Yep, Gregory Shaw at the outside wall, and I think he got into Kyle Rochelle.
GT Irizarry involved and many others come into a crushing halt. And Kyle Rochelle thought he was going to be clear. Man, what a wreck for some of these drivers.
Yeah, and that all started there as it was side-by-side action that we were watching there. And Shaw just got in way too deep trying to defend the position on Mark Whitley and just got up out the groove into the outside wall, bounced off the wall from there, and unfortunately got to Kyle Rochelle. And I can tell you those two, they've had their run-ins before, and that's going to only continue to build that rivalry between those two drivers, I know.
And for Nolan Hicks, another race of showing some great potential, but taken out before the stage break is even done for that of the 86. And because there's no fast repair could be done for the whole entire night, going to be having what we call a meatball flag. It's a required damage flag. It's a black flag with an orange circle, meaning if you've got damage that you have to come into pit road to get repaired because you are unsafe to be out on track. So for the 86, might be calling it a night early, as plenty of other drivers that just are heavily damaged, like you see here for the 14 of GT Irizarry. Pit road is where they want to go. Cedric Hunter going to be leading the drivers into pit road. All that come in this time.
Interesting call to come down this lap here because, you know, a lot of these guys have damage, so maybe that's possibly what they're trying to get worked on. But yeah, with all these drivers pitting here, it's looking like it's going to be about 26 drivers, I believe, or 25 drivers who stayed out there. So I'm going to be restarting around 26 here if you pit. But man, definitely going to be looking to get some damage repair. And these 2 drivers up front, they're looking to keep doing what they're doing. And Mark Whitley, I mean, he got to 9th there, Sam. So he did climb through pretty well, along with Nick Crawford up to 11th. But you know, we'll see here once we get back green here how fast will they be able to do it again. Is I think these caution laps definitely don't help him here, as it's taking away laps that they need, but it's also helping Danny Cochran. I think now it's going to be 1 lap down.
Yeah, going to be 1 lap down, and now just hoping that no one else in front of him is going to be a lap down, as the 31, knowing again at our stage break at the end of lap 55, there will be a yellow thrown for that. That could be the 31 that was challenging inside of our top 4 before he had internet issues. It's 3 laps down, now only 1. Just 1 more yellow to get back on the lead lap, but I would still say it's still in the danger zone. There's a lot of drivers that are going to potentially bring out a lot of yellows. This is our 4th one of the day. And Zach, just because we've had enough green flag racing that comes up, I think a lot of the drivers got to be feeling at least a little excited that we are running anywhere from 4 to 8 laps before we get a yellow flag.
Yeah, I think they're definitely enjoying that. As you know, it's these cautions here. They do, like, you know, you like it sometimes when you're up front to be able to pace it out. But some of these other drivers are starting to get frustrated now. So these frustrations start to build more and more. We got 4 cautions right now already before our stage. It could be a long night here at Gateway. So these drivers are going to have to keep their cool, try to stay calm. But this place can get frustrating, man. It really is a track that can bring out the frustrations. And I've been seeing Ethan Smith there having a few little issues there with his internet, but hopefully no issues for him as He's leading this race right now, 1-2-3 with that Blackjack Racing team.
So interesting note on Ethan Smith. He has changed internet providers over the last times that we've seen him be super blinky and having internet issues. He has not officially been disconnected. That's a luck on his part, but the blinking issues obviously don't give you a comfortable feeling. He told me before this race that he was just going to plug in his computer to the Ethernet cord and actually not be Bluetooth-wise to his computer. So that gives a lot more understanding the last couple of weeks. But obviously, because he's still blinking here tonight, the issue has not been fully fixed. That 00, hoping you know, just a little bit more internet juice to stay more stable.
Yeah, that's taking a big risk there. I've always been a guy that says, you know, plug in the Ethernet cable. It's always a good way to go to fix problems, but unfortunately, it doesn't like it's fixed it all the way. Is again a little bit of an issue there for him, but looks like it only happens under cautions, and that is something that is kind of an iRacing thing that I've noticed with a few guys with their connections. So hopefully, no problems for him there like we've seen with Danny Cochran. But I gotta say, Danny Cochran, with him only being one lap down and no other guys a lap down, other than Morales who's 10 back. I mean, Cochran's sitting in a good position to possibly, when this stage culture comes out, be back on the lead lap.
Who's gonna get this one done? Again, stage break at the end of lap 55. And the top 10 drivers get those points. And right now it's Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, Brandon Colley, John Forrest, Thomas Green, Zach Wilson, Alex Light, as well as Jared Talmadge, Noah Steele, and Mark Whitley. Steele, Whitley, they're on the freshest tires. They're expected to try to get up front, but pace car is off. We are green once again here at Gateway, and it's Ethan Smith. A fabulous launch over that of 2, 3, almost 4 truck breaks into that of turn number 1.
Oh, and Cody Reed sells it in there. He had to push from his teammate of Forbes, and it was the second restart in a row that's happened for him. And what a crazy moment there. It was almost contacted back at Ethan Smith. If he had been closer, it could have been. But right now, side-by-side racing is Brandon Colley after that spin and getting in the Trenton jump. He's been on a somewhat get in a good position here up to 4th.
Now up to 4th and looking good. Our front runners, just a little bit of side-by-side action that we're seeing from Nick Crawford onto that of Alex Light, but deeper in the field again around that 23rd spot. Drivers are testing 3 wide and they're surviving for now, but our leaders, they are still trying to pull away the best that they can as Mark Whitley only able to move up to that 7th, but you can see picking and choosing is Nick Crawford. Fresh tires for the 4 as he's now up to 9th.
Yeah, Nick Crawford looking really, really strong. He's been on to be a little bit more patient, it seems, and let Mark Whitley open up the door for him and just follow him through. So doing a good job there keeping those tires underneath him. But with it being 15 to go in the stage, they're going to need to go green here if they want to try to get up to this lead position, I believe.
I mean, they came in with a big advantage. I mean, it was over that of 20, that of 26, 27 laps advantage that Mark Whitley and Nick Crawford had. Usually when you see these races, as they're going to be wrecking further behind, it's going to be Eric Stamp going to be involved with this one, and others. Our Daytona winner, all with this wreck.
Yeah, that's looks like a good bit of damage there for that 53 machine, and continue to be some intense racing back in the back of this field here. Is have to see exactly what happened here, guys. As we'll go back on this replay.
53 heated and upset with this. Watch out for that 48 on the inside. It's going to be the 53 trying to run down low, putting that Turpin in a tricky spot, but Turpin got into the throttle too soon and drifted right up to the 53. But then that second contact throws it right back up into Schmock, and Robert Schmock, nowhere to go. Gives another contact to that of Eric Stamp.
Yeah, Daytona winner's not going to be happy with that for sure. Is he's going to have to get that truck worked on. But Robert Schmock, like you said, really nowhere for him to go. He's going to get a lot of nose damage from it. So, unfortunately, the 48 getting into that 53, and that's going to put us back under caution here once again. And the guys who are really not liking this are the guys on those new tires. You got to say that for sure. As Mark Whitley's only at the 6th, Nick Crawford up to 8th. I mean, I look at a few guys that even came down pit road that really haven't made any ground up. So, it has been a tough time for those drivers who pitted farther back there.
Fifth caution of the day, as they've all been on-track incidences. But I think also, Zach, something we've talked about in many of other leagues here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, it's called the heat cycle. That could be another thing that these drivers are dealing with for those that haven't come to pit road.
No, for sure. Is that heat cycle can really upset the balance of your tires and change the balance too. It's not only when you're a driver, the thing that you ask is, for the car to be predictable and to know what's going to happen and know, hey, when I do this certain maneuver, the car's going to do this certain thing, so I can kind of predict and work with it. When you have these heat cycles, though, it does change the balance. You will get these differences in the truck and the tires, and you'll go down into turn one and turn three for the first time, and on that first lap, and the truck could do something completely different. And you got to be really ready for that. If you're not ready to be able to judge what's going to happen quickly, sometimes it gets over your head and you can quickly get into an incident. So you got to be on top of that here, and some drivers definitely have a little bit of trouble with these cars or these trucks here tonight. As also with this caution, a big deal that just happened is Danny Cochran back onto the lead lap. So back from 3 laps down, and it's not even the stage. That's got to be a bright spot for him there, as he's going to be trying to work his way back to the field.
Yeah, I think the recognition of, hey, it's early, I can come back from this, there might be a lot of wrecks that's still to come, and it's worked out for the 31 to get back onto the lead lap for himself and be able to be backfired in 34th position, as still a bunch of other drivers caught up with their issues. Mark Morales Jr., 10 laps down, comes back into pit road. Nolan Hicks, who has to come back into pit road, had engine issues, only 1 lap down, Zach, and is still able to be running currently.
Yeah, seems to be trying to get that thing fixed up still. So in plenty of time in this race. I mean, we just seen Danny Cochran come back from 3 laps down. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more guys come back from being major laps down. And the guy who really, really wants to see a few of these guys get back, or at least Nolan Hicks get back on the lead lap and nobody else go a lap down, is Mark Morales. He's been stuck there at 10 laps down after missing the start of this race. And really, unfortunately for him, with all these cautions, he hasn't been able to get any laps back, due to drivers up front not having pit yet, and drivers like Danny Cochran having disconnected earlier, who got trapped a lap down.
And now drivers about to get piled up and stacked up and ready to go. We have already seen a couple of pileups this race so far. As tonight, watching all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Moyer Rain Productions in the background, giving us all the graphics and cameras for this evening, as you are watching the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. This is Season 3, race number 3, as we're here at Gateway for the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. And you might be wondering, well, who's Cody? Why is it so epic and cool? Well, he's the driver in the 25, and the driver that came up with the schemes and the colors for his teammates, as you can see him there. 25's in pink, Ethan Smith's going to be in the red, John Forbes in the blue. That is Blackjack Racing. And tonight, they were hoping for an epic and cool win for themselves. And Zach, it's always interesting when you see teammates running similar schemes to one another.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Cody Reed, I tell you what, they not only similar schemes, but very similar pace here tonight from these 3 who've made it up to the top 3. So we'll see if they can hold on. They're going to have those fresh tires back there in 6th.
Oh, yeah, 10 laps to figure this thing out. We're either going to have 2 cautions, then the stage break is done, or we're going to be racing this thing green. Those are our chances, our opportunities. Who's going to be in the top 10 to get those bonus points? It's time to find out, as we're green once again here at Gateway, and Ethan Smith, like always, is gone down in turn number 1.
Oh, we got a major stack up back throughout that field there. It is 3-4 wide entering into the corner of turn 1. I mean, we had 3 wide in 4 different positions, but it looks like everybody makes it through turn 2 somehow.
They keep it soft, they keep it neat and tidy, and they make it through turns 1 and 2 into turn number 3. We're seeing our lead pack surviving for now, but it's going to be a driver moving up to 5th place. Mark Whitley, fresh tires. He's now got his sights on Brandon Colley, and then it's the Blackjack drivers in front of him trying to make this pass, as drivers starting to single file out, and it's looking good for us to try to tick this one to the end of this stage, again at the end of lap 55.
Yeah, and that's what Mark Whitley wants to see. He wants to see this full thing be run out, but he gets a little bit loose there off of 2, as that new tire advantage is starting to slip away. All these heat cycles have brought these tires closer probably together, and now he's going to dive it back to the inside of the 94. The 94 doesn't give him much room there. Brandon Colley making it tough on Whitley, but they're spinning behind his Tamer around.
Jason Tamer in the 81 going to be collecting a few other drivers. Stops it on the road, and Turpin comes in late, as well as going to be seeing that of Freed, as they're trying not to make more contact with other drivers, as Tamer gets rolling. And restart. Going to be 6th caution of the day on just that lap 48 here. Zach, I think we still got a lot of racing to go, especially on the fact that these wrecks, because this track is so slow through the corners, there's not a lot of opportunities to really get into big wrecks, but a driver that is heavily damaged after this one, going to be that of Anthony Gaudio in the 3.
Yeah, Gaudio's had such a good run at Homestead last week. Going to be really hurt after getting to the outside wall, trying to miss that wreck there. And man, just unfortunate for him there as like a little bit of contact from Kralik to the back bumper of the 81. Is 81 looked to close the door on him, but just couldn't close it in time. And right here with this caution, definitely set up a little bit of interesting scenario where I think someone could look to pit here, stay out at lap 55 stage. We'll have to see though here as you see Gaudio limping down pit road with the smoke coming out the back end. That is not a good picture for him.
No, not at all. That's the second driver that's had that major issue. Carl Pooler as well for the 71, caught speeding on entry to pit road. That's going to be a holding penalty that he's going to have to deal with. Luckily, we're under pacing. Actually, excuse me, that's going to be potentially an EOL or a hold penalty once we go green for the 71. As Gaudio required damage, he's going to be in pit road for quite a while, especially with the engine damage as drivers getting set up and ready to go. But Zach, 6 cautions in. We're not even at lap 50 yet. That is it's not a good pace to be seeing these drivers hitting so far.
No, they definitely don't want to be continuing this trend. They're going to want to have some racing, man. You know, when you get racing like this, you don't really get to see the true, attributes of the drivers out there. I mean, a lot of people can go out there and run a fast lap time, but it's about putting it all together over a course of a run. When you get these yellows like this, drivers that feel like they have possibly something in the ability to make up some ground as that run goes on, they're getting frustrated right now. That's picking up their aggression level. It's just really leading to a lot of people, I feel like, probably overstepping the boundary a little bit here in Gateway. And it's a tough track to race each other at, so not really surprised from what we're seeing. But we do have a few takers on pit road, I believe. It looks like Hicks is going to come down this time again, so Hicks probably getting some more damage repaired as he's still 1 lap down. If he can stay in that 1 lap position there, he'll get that lucky dog back. It looks like Gaudio's still in pit road. It looks like Cedric Hunter in the 13 looks like he's coming down pit road. And interesting timing with that with lap 50 here. I think he might be looking to pull that same strategy he kind of did at Homestead, where take tires here now and stay out at that lap 55 stage.
Yeah, a driver that took tires with Cedric Hunter just did. Going to be that of Jared Talmadge in 28th. So seeing some drivers picking and choosing on the strategy books on what they feel like can put them in the best track position wise, especially for the 13 who had some front end damage. Need any advantage to make passes the easiest way possible. Because we're on lap 50, it's going to be around like that of 52, I believe, that we're going to be going green potentially here. Zach, that means that this race is going to be a quick shootout for the drivers to handle for themselves. Either it's going to be that of 4-lap shootout, or this stage break is going to end under yellow. Matters on the aggression level for these drivers on this restart, but we do know this stage is either going to end under yellow or at the end of lap 55. So the drivers have their window they're looking for.
Yeah, the window is there. Will we get it closed their faces? Possibly, yes, but we'll have to see. It's going to be tough to get here to the end of this stage. I think a lot of guys are going to be going for everything and trying to get the most out of what they got here, especially a few guys on the new tires and a few guys on old tires trying to stay in this stage point area. So right around that 10th area, it's Aaron Kralik, Christopher Norris, Zach Wilson. So all those guys right in that single area.
As there's Gregory Shaw, as we'll get more looks at some of the drivers that have their driver cams. This restart is going to be so important for the drivers that are inside of our top 10 and trying to get into our top 10, as this 35 machine is back in 19th. That's a lot of work if he wants to get up into 10th place, but it's going to be in the heart of the field where we could see a caution. That's what we're going to ride on board with Gregory Shaw on this restart. It's Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, John Forbes, Anna Brandon Colley, Mark Whitley, Steele, Crawford, Green, Wilson, and Norris, your top 10. As the pace car is in, we're ready to go green flag racing once again for the Codys. Super epic and cool Gateway 125. This is the final restart before our stage is done, as we're green and drivers already trying to go 3 wide. That's a very aggressive move by Shaw. but he did not officially make the pass and still crossing the line, so luckily shouldn't be penalized, but very aggressive to see from 35, which, no surprise, when he started racing and recovering him, he was known as Mr. Aggressive.
Yeah, he definitely likes to stick that front bumper in some areas, so we'll see him start to charge again here. 3 wide down the backstretch. He's got Danny Cochran in the middle there, and now 24 Fonseca up top there. A little contact from Danny Cochran to Fonseca, and that's some heavy racing going on here with this group back here.
Yeah, back here, Edie's certainly getting aggressive. They're hard pounding. They're trying to get in every position possible, as it's going to be seen that a Trent Jump going to be the bubble driver in 10th place. And he's got to be careful because he's going to have Jonathan Smith, Zach Wilson trying to close in on that gap. And as well, the battle for third starting to ramp up. Mark Whitley trying to utilize those fresh tires. 3 laps to go at the stage. It's going to be 2 laps when they come across the line. But still, for our front runners, they know a yellow could strike at any moment. So if you're going to make the pass, make it now. But it looks like for Cody Reed, he's thinking defensive. Let's help the teammates out. Going down into 2 laps to go here for our stage break.
And it's showing right now that those new tires don't have just as much as they did before, as Whitley still has an advantage, but not as much as he would like, as he's going to dive it up the inside here, coming off a 2, not have the power down the 25, but have the good run off the corner. He's going to possibly look on his teammate John Ford's up there, but he'll stay in line as we'll be looking to get that white flag here for the stage.
This is kind of looking like a little bit of a team effort, like super speedway style. You got teammates in line, just makes it so much harder to make the passes, but Mark Whitley able to get the groove, get the launch, and now on the white flag of the stage. If we get to the line, this stage break, the yellow will be thrown. Otherwise, we can see a yellow for a wreck behind him. Side by side, going to be for third place, almost for the lead. John Forbes trying to get aggressive, won't be able to be there. Ethan Smith off the corner, looking good, but the pass for third has been confirmed. But they're wrecking behind. Oh, it's a big one. They're scattering, they're wrecking, and it's all around the bubble spot of around 8th place on back. And it's now gridlock coming at turn number 2.
Yeah, and that's looks like Brandon Colley there in the 94 getting looks like he came up in front of a car there and just got turned across the nose there, the 15, and whew, from there it was a lot of drivers getting into it. Looks like Jonathan Smith got a really hard hit also.
Thomas Green, Smith, and everyone else luckily able to get by. But there was a lot of drivers accordion effect because of the contact into Thomas Green. That was a huge pack that got involved with 15. A lot of drivers ran into their bumpers, and damage is going to be a hard thing, but that is the stage break. Tom Bourne, blown engine, looks like for the 16 as he ran into Thomas Green, as well as that Jonathan Smith. Brandon Colley hat match with a black flag as tons of drivers into pit road as this is the stage break.
Yeah, that's going to be a great run there for that Blackjack team. Unfortunately, Reed was not able to hold on to that 1, 2, 3 for him. He dropped back to 4th, but holding them off and saving a set of tires, this is the best bet they could ask for.
As drivers hit pit road, lots of questions need to be answered, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll answer some of those questions here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You won't miss a thing as we go side by side. begins.
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, as well as Robert Warrior Jr. in the background running productions. As you are watching the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series Monday night, is race number 3 of the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. And right now, a lot of decisions have been made. A lot of drivers came into pit road. That was back from 5th on back, coming into pit road, but a little bit of shuffling. Ethan Smith, a terrible pit stop that forced that of the 00 going to be back to 8th place. But our front, that of 4, all drivers that came into pit road earlier, and now going to be seeing how will that of Gregory Shaw, as well as Talmadge and others, hold off on this restart. They're on slightly older tires, but can they hold on as the pace car is off and we're green here at that gateway, and the drivers setting up? How do they want to go? A lot more shuffling. Let's go 3 wide for the lead down into turn number 1. Cedric Hunter wants that lead position now.
Oh, and is stacking it up. John Forbes going to slide by on the inside there. That is really going to stack things up now. Shaw up top, Cedric Hunter in the middle as they're heading down the back straightaway. It's 3 by 3 for the second position and on back.
That's going to be the 35 that we're seeing on board in your driver cam down below. That's Gregory Shaw as 3 wide. Here comes John Forbes trying to hug that inner groove. Pinching, squeezing. 2 wide. Let him 3 wide, almost 4 wide at times. And it's going to be seen that is Shaw losing all the ground. John Forbes now going to have the advantage into turn 1 for second place. But it's just a pyramid. They're going backwards. It's 1, 2 wide, 3 wide, almost 4 wide out of turn number 2. And oh, they're wrecking behind. It's Alexander Light in that of the 97.
Yeah, and it's on the grass, so they're not going to have a yellow yet, as they're going to stay green here. He's getting it back going. No yellow on the racetrack, but the racing continues on from up front. But tell you what, we had a big moment. Mark Whitley did the 77. He almost lost that machine.
Almost lost it, and I think that's kind of what scared the rest of the field to back off just slightly, as seeing the drivers racing down into turn number 1. That's on board with the 29 of Logan Brakey, and Brakey seeing Gregory Shaw, who was so aggressive on those tires when he got the fresh rubber 20 laps ago. Well, at the moment, struggling poorly to even get a launch out of the corner because of how worn down those tires are, and now it's just monkey see, make monkey do, make the follow. But for the lead, John Forbes gets it done over Talmadge, and now right back to where they once were is Blackjack Racing up front.
Yeah, and also Ethan Smith, he was able to get around Mark Whitley with his woes, and now he goes to the inside of the 13 of Cedric Hunter down into 1 and 2. Hunter slides up the racetrack. That's going to allow Smith to get a decent run here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That outside too powerful there, as Smith having a little bit of issue disappearing there for us, but he's back now as Talmadge going to open up the door there for Cedric Hunter around the outside there too in the 3 and 4. And this racing right here for our top 6 is epic.
And drivers have been talking about where they feel the most comfortable. Some say all the way down low, down to the apron. You want to keep it as close as possible to those rumble strips. Don't touch it, but get close. Other drivers say the middle lane is where they feel like they can carry the most speed. And here we go, battling for second place. Not going to happen. They're wrecking behind, and it's going to be seen drivers low, slow, and it's the 81 of Tamer bringing out this most recent yellow.
Yeah, and I've seen there, he had a major damage on the right side of that truck, so have to see exactly what happened. Is I think his engine expired, actually. He just blew up in front of the field.
Gonna be diving it down into turn number 3, and watch out for the puff of smoke. And it's gonna go right around now. You're gonna see that puff go, and at this moment, Jason Tamer got clipped by the 3, but also slams on the brakes trying to get into pit road. And because he was so sideways, there was oncoming traffic behind him. That yellow flag is thrown. And for Jason Tamer, who's been involved in a couple of incidences, day is done as well. Into pit road, going to be Tom Bourne. He has called it a night for himself after that accident before this, and that of Jonathan Smith have called it a night. Just adding to the pile as you're right on board with the 81, and you just see the RPMs go away, and the engine's coasting, and he comes to a halt.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. And also, this track, a lot of shifting. You get a lot of nose damage like that, it usually does increase the temperatures of the engine. And man, I tell you, when you get that scenario like that with the damage and the shifting going on, you have scenarios where it can overheat and that engine will let go at some point. And unfortunately for Tamer, that's what has happened. So I'm gonna have to bring it to pit road, and he's gonna pull it behind the wall here officially now. So unfortunately for the 81, some more bad luck in his case.
Few drivers coming into pit road to get service done, being led by that of Gregory Shaw, then Trenton Jump, and a few other drivers further back in the field decided to get some service done for themselves. But for some of these drivers that might not be seeing the yellow flag coming out as clearly as they have been hoping to, you saw it when we were on board with Gregory Shaw. He had a blinking light behind him. Might be wondering what that light was. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is an iRacing iFlag system. That provides iRacing sim drivers the best iFlag virtual flag system that gives them clear and concise flag indication states of the track state of how the track is, if it's green, yellow, or other conditions on track, as well as just gives you great that of basic visual spotting information. iRacing iFlag, one of our main sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you want to go get yourself an iRacing iFlag system, go to iRacingIFlag.com and use our promo code FreakyFast2022 to get a percentage off of your purchase. Thank you to iRacing iFlag, and I know for a lot of these drivers, Zach, they certainly are seeing a lot of that yellow flag here tonight.
Yeah, definitely seeing a lot of that yellow flag here tonight, and it's giving them a lot of decisions to make. What they want to play with, the strategy, and how they want to pull it off. So definitely a interesting night here at Gateway. But I tell you what, we'll go great with that iRacing iFlag that we saw there that Gregory Shaw had. That would be an admin box. That's right. It's race control at your fingertips. Each admin box, it connects via USB and has pre-programmed commands for race control, driver functionality, and pit options, with LED backlighting to make each button highly visible in a desk-mounted enclosure. So awesome to see admin box come on board here with us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Make sure you head on over to adminbox.com, and that's adminbox with 2 X's there, and use that discount code FFB/box with 2 X's, and you can get race control at your fingertips, and we'll definitely help you here for these caution-filled laps.
And as well, with the pace car lights still on, gives us time to thank our final sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Advanced Sim Racing. Advanced Sim Racing is the fastest growing North American sim racing chassis manufacturer, as well as digital motorsports equipment retailer. Get yourself set up with your racing sim rig, as well as getting your monitor stand, steering wheels. They are partnered with so many amazing products to give you the best experience for sim racing. Go attach your iRacing iFlag, your admin box to the racing rig, and you're prepared to go out there racing, league racing like we see almost every single day here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, or just go out there on iRacing and get yourself set up. Racing official races. See how high you can get your iRating and see if you can go become a pro. Go use our promo code FreakyFast5 for 5% off at Advanced Sim Racing. As the drivers are stacked up, we're ready to go. Zach, we're past halfway. And now it's time to see who can survive, because it's no longer about racing to the stage. It's about getting the win here tonight.
Yeah, it's about getting that victory that put yourself in the playoffs. So let's see who can get it done. It's been the wild, wild west here at Gateway as drivers have been going for it. But we're going to have a definitely a mixed bag here when we go back to green.
Well, up front, going to be John Forbes, Jarrett Tallmadge, Ethan Smith, Cedric Hunter, Cody Reed, as well as Mark Whitley, Nick Crawford, Noah Steele, Logan Brakey, and Danny Cochran. What a rebound for the 31. He's still trying to get up front. As the pace car is up, drivers are taking up. It's green as they head down into turn number 1.
And Forbes with a great jump out front, able to get ahead of his teammate Ethan Smith, who those are the guys battling down to it from the very end of that stage. And they're going to be battling here at the end, too, as Reed's got up the third, too, now. But it's a log jam behind Cedric Hunter there, who's got Nick Crawford in the four looking to his inside, but also Mark Whitley there trying to fight off Danny Cochran, who's making his rebound back up in the 31 machine.
Big thing to remember, Danny Cochran in the 31 had internet issues in the first couple of cautions, then became 3 laps down. Able to get back into the session, got the caution flags that were necessary to get the 31 back on the lead lap, and now up to 8th place. He was challenging for the lead before he got disconnected, so we know the speed's in the 31. Big thing at this moment is who else can defend, or will the 31 make a mistake being so close as drivers being and begging and trying to hold on. But Zach, something we haven't touched on, that backstretch, that opening, so dangerous if you find yourself being side by side and get hit at the wrong moment.
Yeah, you know, I've seen it before where people have shoved people wide into that spot, and it's been an interesting scenario to see who backs out and who folds in that situation. But yeah, that back straightaway, we call it the gateway gap. Me and my friends do it. It's an interesting thing to have on a back straightaway, no doubt. Looks like we have Carl Puller here on our little side-by-side camera here on the bottom, watching him do battle. He had a black flag earlier for something.
Yeah, he had a black flag for entering pit road too quick, and he's gotten himself back onto the lead lap. He was lapped down for a quick moment with the 71, feeling good at the moment. 29th position. I think the big thing for Carl Puller here, just survive, make it to the end, and hope other drivers have some major mistakes so he can gain some positions. And it looking like some of the drivers ahead of him gifting positions up, such as Gregory Shaw, who's being very aggressive on his tires. 35, low, slow, and it just seems like the engine's not there, nor are the tires for Shaw.
Yeah, them tires starting to feel it, and you can see the damage to that right front sticking out a lot there on that truck. So a lot of movement being made as Alexander Light's trying to charge his way back there. He's got Tyler Dingler at that 19 directly ahead of him for that 19th position. Also Trap U up ahead also. So great battling going back here around this 19th spot. But John Forbes still leading up front. Alexander Light going to look to the inside now.
Yeah, going to look to the inside the best that he can, trying to go for the pressure. And Alexander Light, that of Tyler Dangler, they've worked with one another a couple of times in other leagues, and they're hoping to keep the same speed up for themselves. And as they're racing as hard as they are, Mark Whitley, issues for the 77, exited turn 4 about a lap ago. Hard contact, and he has now got some side damage. He's lost a couple of positions. Whitley, you can see the scrapes on the 77. He is struggling at the moment, but some of our bigger movers starting to crack into the top 10. Ollie Fonseca in this 24, up 20 positions. And our biggest mover of the night at this moment, Christopher Norris, back in 12th.
Yeah, and he's pressuring a little bit on Mark Whitley. Here's Whitley, a little bit of slide again off of 2, and that's been Mark Whitley's detriment here tonight. He's not been able to put that power down in third gear there, coming up off of 2, and that's how he's gotten that damage there. So unfortunate for Whitley, it's not been the greatest full-time return here tonight, but he'll be looking to bounce back possibly next week, but still a lot of race to go here tonight for him to possibly pull something out of the bag.
And then we move up to that of the battle for 4th place. Jarrett Tallmadge, Nick Crawford, they're side-by-side as well for the battle for 6th. It's side-by-side, 2 battles going on at once. That's 4th place and 6th place, both on engagement. But it's Nick Crawford and Tallmadge that continue to stay side-by-side. This is for the 2nd or 3rd lap in a row that they just cannot get away from one another, which is allowing Blackjack Racing to pull away. Forbes, Smith, Reed, they're loving the battling for 4th.
Yeah, that's some great battling going on there. Tallmadge got to give it up, though, as Nick Crawford. Great run for him tonight. He's just really been right around that 4th place to 5th place position all night long. We'll see as this race goes on. Does he have anything for those front 3 teammates out front, as Forbes is starting to get a little pressure from Smith even. But that battle for Danny Cochran and Cedric Hunter, that's definitely heating up a little bit. Is Nick Crawford there finding the gap.
Finding the gap, and just, you know, we talk about focus sometimes for the drivers as Danny Cochran is shoving the 13. He is just tailgating the best that he can, trying to make any mistake. But when you're that close, if the driver in front of you that you're pushing, if they spin out or have any issue, you can get more damage put on yourself than the driver in front. As diving it down low as we're riding on board, Danny Cochran trying to crack inside of 6th place. The march getting back to the top 5, showing to be a little bit more difficult the further up you get.
Yeah, it definitely gets very difficult. And, you know, especially if you run up on someone like Cedric Hunter, who's really doing a good job of just being methodical and getting a good run off the top. If you defend him, you just plan to make it somewhat very tough for someone to get by you, you can do a good job of just holding that outside groove in 1 and 2 and really getting that shot down that long straightaway. Danny Cochran's going to really have to make his move. He's going to have to get to this outside quarter panel right here, and I think that's what he's trying to do here in the center corner. Cedric Hunter's going to get loose.
Holds on, comes back, gets contact. Danny Cochran hates to see that, but there's a ton of smoke. Drivers scattering, watch out. Here comes light. Others, it's the true pack. We stay green as drivers have to really whoa up to the Hello Kitty machine.
Oh, man, big moment for Cedric Hunter there, and he definitely didn't want to be doing that as it corrects right back into Danny Cochran, who somehow skates by with minimal damage. I mean, he's got some damage on that truck, but very minimal for what could have been there, and that could have been disaster.
And it is miserable to see for that of the 31, because it feels like 2 weeks in a row just running his own race. The last week it was while he was pacing that he found himself getting some major damage, and then finished off coming to the end of the stage break at Homestead. Now this go around, we're past halfway, and an innocent victim once again as contact, heavy damage on both sides. But like you said, Zach, it doesn't, yes, visually we can see the damage, but pace-wise, he's not doing too bad. He's still keeping up and a little bit faster than the 17 in front of him.
Yeah, he's looking to close that gap down as Fonseca. He's closing it down on Noah still, even in this 8. He's looking to try to make up more ground here as his climb through the field continues. But, man, yeah, you got to give it to Danny Cochran there with that damage still trucking along, and time is looking very, very competitive. Not as quick as our leaders, but very, very competitive indeed.
Only Fonseca, got to give credit to that driver, hoping for a good run, but another driver that's looking for a decent run, Kerry Tribune, trying to march his way forward the best that he can. Currently up 14 spots. One of our drivers that had to work with the drivers that had penalties around him decided not to qualify, and a lot of drivers were told not to qualify if you had any penalties before. So the 7 has been around drivers that were slower than the 7 usually, or with drivers that had a little bit more speed, and now you're starting to see even those ahead. Mark Whitley trying to recover for himself.
Yeah, Whitley's struggling off of 2. Same kind of condition that Cedric Hunter had there. Just broke loose coming off the corner, and continuing to be a little bit of a struggle for him is up ahead of him. There's some heavy battling going on with Eric Stamp, Alexander Light, and Logan Brakey here from that 11th, 12th, and 13th positions on the racetrack right now. So looking very, very strong. But right now, from what I'm looking at lap time wise, the fastest truck on the racetrack is actually the Ford machine of Nick Crawford.
Nick Crawford, he might be fast right now, and kind of the tail of the tape usually. You might be fast, you might be able to catch up to the driver, but making the pass is where it gets the most difficult for most of the time, as we're still right on board with Eric Stamp, involved with a wreck earlier, kind of, in a different way, different kind of story for the 53, but a great comeback for Eric Stamp, who's in 13th place, as we move up to that of Nick Crawford, who's trying to make the small little adjustments to catch up to our top 3.
Yeah, he's doing a really fantastic job there. 35.54 last time to really the fastest car on the racetrack was John Forbes, last time by for 35.47. So right in the ballpark is this Ford, and the more battling that keeps going on with these teammates up front, that allows him to close in this position, and definitely looking to make up some ground here as these guys continue to battle. Forbes is definitely trying to do his best to hold off his teammate Smith, who's really tried everything. I've watched him go. He's been doing anything from low to high every single corner and trying to get some clean air.
Trying and searching, and you're always open. What else do I need to do to put myself in a situation to try to win anywhere you're at? And I gotta say, for John Forbes, he's feeling good for himself. So Smith. Cody Reed, this is the race that he wants so bad for the 25, but it just looks like his teammates have just a little bit more speed than Cody, which it's got to be feeling disappointing for the driver that this race is named after him.
Yeah, he's he's thinking, man, it's right in my grasp, but my teammates are just that little bit more than me, quicker. But I'll tell you, he's not letting him get away. So that's the big thing. Is if anything, he's still right here. And my big thing is, these guys all pitted at lap 56. We did have one caution there in between this run, but I don't see anybody making it to the end of this race. I think about the farthest you're going to see anybody be able to do this is about 10 laps to go, which is about 115. So don't think anybody's going to make this race. So that means pit stops are going to definitely have to be on board their minds as we're closing down to the end of this race.
Hoping that those caution laps were enough, but certainly everyone's trying to find that little bit of extra speed for themselves as we're watching the battling between Trenton Jump as well as that of Thomas Green, and these drivers searching for the maximum of potential for themselves, but kind of an odd place for both these drivers. Been caught up in incidences as some drivers into pit road, slowing down. Going to be that of Logan Brakey, going to be the first driver to open up these pit stops, but Trent Jump as well as Thomas Green, very odd to see them battling just to see if they can crack into the top 15.
Yeah, it's very, very odd, too, for Thomas Green. I mean, Trenton Jump, he was running up in the top 5. He got that contact from Brandon Colley, hit pit road after that, but never really kind of rebounded, kind of stayed around that 10th place area and kind of been from 15th on back from there. But Thomas Green, I mean, he charged up through the field, was in the top 5 at one point, almost top 4. As the caution's out on the racetrack.
Caution's out, and that's going to be Robert Schmock going to be bringing out this one for that of the 60 machine, and looked like battling between himself and Joshua Freed for 28th position. The drivers I mean, this is kind of tradition, Zach. Drivers battling for almost last place, making contact. This is the way that it is for this series.
Yeah, these guys in the back, they love to battle really hard, and sometimes it seems like those late race cautions always do seem to come from the rear end of the field, but Freed just missing the corner there, and you can see the left front locking, and Schmock, again, nowhere to go tonight for him there on that outside, and just an innocent bystander there as Freed missed that corner trying to make the pass, and it's tough to make that pass, but you can't lock up that tire because you're pretty much a passenger at that point with your truck. You're going to be going straight up the racetrack, and you see that's what happened to Schmock there. Is this caution going to help them be able to make it to the end of this race, though, and they're all going to be hitting pit road?
I don't know if this is a luck or just miserable timing, but for Logan Brakey, he just went a lap down right when the caution flag flew. So he's going to be getting that lucky dog spot, but he could have been, if he was on the lead lap when that yellow came out, could have been taking the easy pass to get up front. Instead, he's just got to hang out where he's at. But the drivers that are trying to gain as many positions as possible, there's not much to be gained when you come into pit road unless you find yourself sliding and out of pit road. Oh, man, almost beating out John Forbes. That's to just falter to second place.
Yeah, John Forbes going to lose the lead there. Ethan Smith going to win the race off pit road. That's a big deal for him there. That shows that pole position. It does help there getting that lead position off of pit road, and he's going to take advantage of that there in the 00 machine. As it looks like even Reed's going to come off third. Nick Crawford fourth. Looks like Talmadge off fifth.
Well, Zach, we got our little bit of a green flag stint there, which was awesome to see. We got to see a lot more of drivers battling one another. We kind of saw a couple of incidents that could have brought yellows, but coming in 90 laps into this race, what are some of your thoughts of this race so far?
Well, this track, when it came in here, I was like, man, this is going to be a track that really sets up for some beating and banging to happen, and it's kind of played true to that. And it takes a lot of patience at this racetrack to race somebody, and when you have sometimes impatient drivers, they're going to beat and bang, and it's going to lead to those yellows that come out right here. And I'm not surprised by it at all. Here tonight, seeing 9 cautions out. I wouldn't expect to see if we get another caution here, but at least we did get that long green flag run there just to get a little bit of good racing in here. But I expect coming down to the end, it's going to be very cutthroat, that's for sure, and drivers are not going to be given much space. People are going to be taking and not giving back, and that's usually when you see incidents pile up.
Well, tonight, one of the biggest fields that we were expecting to see, and there's still drivers that could make this field even bigger going into next week. And next week here, Zach, like we've seen, talked about it these first couple of races, but these first 5 races so different. You had Daytona, Homestead last week, tonight Gateway. But we go finally road course racing Sonoma for that of the Wine Country Clash. Going to be next week for these drivers where they've got to handle 40 laps of racing action. I know that's a track that you love and you enjoy, but certainly for a lot of these drivers, it could be a rough day going into next week.
Oh, no doubt. That's definitely up there on the top tier of my list of tracks, but I tell you what, the reason it's up there is because of the difficulty level. It takes a certain skill level to get around there, and that's a track that I think a lot of guys that don't enjoy road courses probably have at the bottom of their tier list because of the difficulty level, the elevation changes, the heat out there. It just makes the track hot and slick. I mean, it's a beast in itself. And I mean, the race we saw there last season was great all the way down to the end. Danny Cochran was able to get the win there, so he'll be hoping to possibly get some rebound back there next week. And we got some new names in the field that I think will be right in the mix also. So, man, it's going to be fun heading into Sonoma next week. First road race of the season. Got to love it.
Gotta love it for sure, as you're seeing some of the drivers having fun with the off-axis road. And Zach, looking at the stats, looking at how this race could impact the history of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, if John Forbes wins tonight, he will be tied with Vincent Sora on the most winning driver in this series. So the 11, he's marching for history here tonight. For Ethan Smith, he wants to feel locked in going into the playoffs here later on in the season. Cody Reed's trying to get his first win of this series. Same for that of Nick Crawford and many others behind. A win, it certainly would feel glorious as green flag is out here for that of the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125 into turn number 1. It's Ethan Smith trying to pull away.
Yeah, trying to pull away his best, but it's Nick Crawford on the outside fighting Cody Reed there, trying to make his race not as epic as he's going around the outside. Looks like Forbes there trying to hold that top groove there and maybe box that forward and allow his teammate to have a shot here. And he slides up the racetrack actually and trying to take the air away. Look at this. This is teammate playing games right here.
Now going to be seeing the four of Nick Crawford trying to get the better launch, but it just looks like a little bit of hesitation. The four trying to bump draft, and here comes that is Zach Wilson, the rookie who came in and kind of was the drivers that we had circled up of watch out. Let's try to go a little bit 3 wide as John Forbes blatantly missing turns 1 and 2. And Cody Reed now going to be marching up further back, a little bit of blocking moves. Ali Fonseca going to be trying to make the pass on Talmadge, but up front, Blinkings might be the 0-0, but Cody Reed trying to defend Nick Crawford the best that he can.
Yeah, he's trying to cover off that Ford machine who was getting real aggressive there. He gets by Forbes on the entry there to 3. Now Nick Crawford up into the podium positions. Also Wilson there in 5th. This race is starting to heat up a little bit. New contenders up in the front positions. But Cody Reed trying to make this race a special race for a reason here.
Certainly is trying to make it as special as possible. Cody Reed has not won in this series at all in his career, and one of the drivers that has had close to almost the most starts out of anyone. The 25, evolving, growing, best finishes, has been second a handful of times throughout his career in the ISRC, but he wants to get one position better here tonight. It could happen. One of his favorite tracks, Watkins Glen is his other one, but here tonight, so much pressure the 25 put on himself. And Zach, he's been talking about this racetrack. He's been feeling so confident, but it's the under the radar of Nick Crawford out of nowhere that could change everything here.
No doubt, and I tell you, the middle portion of the run last time, he was very, very quick, and he closed down on these front leaders just a little bit here. So we get into the mid portion of this run. If he's still in that 3rd spot, we'll be looking for him possibly to challenge there. But Reed right now, he's showing a little bit of pace and showing that he wants to go up there and grab the clean air from that 0-0.
Was he playing a little bit of possum? How much was the 25 sandbagging? Because you look back at how the majority of this race has been, it's been the 25 that kind of was 3rd in line of his teammates, sitting there defending and trying to hold off the best that he can. But here comes the momentum. But also the big question, Zach, is if a late caution comes out, that Ford machine would be starting in 3rd place. They'll be on the 2nd driver on the inside. For these drivers as well, if the yellow comes out, half of the field still has 2 sets of tires left in pit road to work with.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions still to be answered, I think, in this final portion of the race. And Cody Reed, though, making it known that he is going to be a threat here coming down to the end, and you got to love it. Here's a reason why he loves this place, and it's showing once more he loves Gateway. As He's closed it down on his teammate Ethan Smith, and a lot of people say their teammates and stuff. Will Ethan Smith roll over here for the 25? No, sir, no, not indeed. I tell you, you're going to race his teammate just as hard as Reed is putting the pressure on here. Smith up front though, doing his best to hold him off.
Cody Reed, especially in the turn number 1, he's been working on that entry for himself. As yellow flag's going to strike, let's try it again, and it's the entry to turn 1. Drivers are scattering as they're coming back into pit road, and oh no! Driver came back up into the field. Danny Cochran had no way of slowing down, and it's going to be Alexander Light that's going to be involved with the first initial catalyst to start this thing off, as it was drivers stacking on top of one another.
Yeah, that was a major stack-up incident, and I think that might have been a little bit of contact there from possibly Trenton jump to the 97. So unfortunate for those two getting involved in it, but Danny Cochran there just unfortunately coming back across the racetrack trying to get slowed down, gets up into Dingler and spins around.
Yeah, I mean, looking back from my end, it looked like it was Kyle Rochelle trying to get aggressive on trying to make a aggressive move, bumps into the 53 of Eric Stamp, who then finishes off Alexander Light, and there's nowhere to go for themselves. A couple of other drivers trying to avoid the initial contact. It was Danny Cochran going through the grass and came back up and door slamming Tyler Dingler, as there's nothing for a lot of these drivers at this point. If you're coming into pit road, Zach, I would say it's for damage repairs, but no one with the quote-unquote required flag to come into pit road for themselves. But certainly frustrations are starting to show here at Gateway. No surprise, this track might be 1.25 miles in length, but it certainly races like a short track at times.
Oh, no doubt. I think this place races somewhat similar to like a Martinsville or something. You got to fight for the groove, and when you get taken off the groove, you go backwards, and you see that action happen, man. So this place. It might be 1.25 miles, and it definitely doesn't race like it though. It races just like a short track at very high speeds, and makes those consequences a little bit even more higher. So these drivers trying to navigate that, but right now with this caution, it did give them a good question whether they wanted to come down and use that set, but I think it's a good idea possibly not to go ahead and burn it.
One positive that they can take, I think a lot of drivers were concerned about this, especially with the way practice has been going before they started qualifying, especially throughout the week of practice, was the talks of this race could have potentially been one of the highest caution flag throws in a race. Drivers were concerned about. The record was 20 cautions back at the Milwaukee Mile for race number 9 of season 1. That was the most cautions. The next most was been 15, and right now only at 10. If we get a caution every single time we go green and we don't finish a lap, then they could hit that and tie the second most cautions ever thrown in this series. But I think a big kudos has to be thrown out for the rest of the field. We've had a couple of long green flag runs, but it's now into the beating and banging stage of this race where we know this is all take, no give, and we got a lot of hungry drivers stuck at the tail end of this field.
Oh, no doubt, and we got some drivers who come down on this pit stop here that are going to be looking to charge their way back through. The first one I look at is Thomas Green. I mean, he stopped back there, got himself some tires. Looks like he'll be restarting back in 20th position, so we'll see if that 15 can make some ground up along with some other drivers behind him. So they'll be using those fresh tires, but we'll see if they'll be able to navigate through, because we've seen tonight it's just so tough to make passes that new tires are an advantage, but it's the passing and the act of getting through the field that takes so long.
Well, we're waiting on the lights to go off, and we'll wait on once the driver's going by, but I think we might have to talk to our leader, get his sense on how this race is going to go. The reason why we wait is we want to make sure that the leaders have the opportunity to give their choose on if they want to be on the inside or the outside on this restart, and then we'll get our thoughts on Ethan Smith. Looks like he wants the outside, so we'll get our thoughts with that of the 00 on this restart, because I think for himself, Ethan Smith, this is going to be an interesting start for himself. Ethan, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, you've been the leader. You've been one of the dominant drivers. You got the pole, but you got a hungry set of drivers behind you. The majority of them your teammates. How are you feeling about this restart and the rest of this race?
I'm confident. I'm I'm fast here. I mean, I've been up in the front this whole time, so I know Cody Reed, who really wants to win, is fast here too. Just friendly competition between my teammates, and just hoping for the best. If we can finish 1, 2, 3, that'd be great.
Well, Ethan, I was going to say good luck to you, buddy, since we're halfway through this lap.
Thank you.
Good luck, Ethan. We know it's going to be a tough one, and we hope for the best for you.
Thank you.
As that was the 00 of Ethan Smith. Zach, friendly competition, yes, but I think that 00 might be, especially on that last run, might be feeling the pressure a little bit more as drivers are ready to get rolling once again. Less than 25 laps to go here at Gateway. Cody Reed wants his first win of his ISRC career, but it's already going to be gone, taken off, and it's John Forbes that gets the launch that holds back Cody Reed. Reed now back to where he was before, defending in third.
Oh, man, you got to feel for Reed. There's the battle back here. Continues on still, fighting Wilson off the corner. You got Talmadge there fighting Fonseca as they race. Also got Norris going around the outside of Whitley there to put himself up into that ninth spot. But man, oh man, the racing's heating up. But Reed falling back to third, not what he wants to see, or Crawford falling back to fourth. Either of those drivers on the bottom.
Rochelle hoping for the best, but a driver that in my mind, I'm going to keep my eyes out for the rest of this race. Thomas Green came into pit road, took 4 sets of tires. He's back in 18th place. It's a lot of positions you've got to gain and hope that your truck's not damaged too much. But up front for second place, Cody Reed moving John Forbes up. He'll now move up to second place. And now John Forbes in the clutches of Nick Crawford. Crawford trying to get back into third.
Yeah, Crawford are going to try to storm back to the podium as Forbes is just got a little bit out the groove there that last time and couldn't get and hold on to that spot. But he's fighting strong right on the quarter panel of that 4 machine and really pinching there coming off the exit. You got to be close there, but the 4 I don't think is going to give him much room here on 1.
He's really trying to just defend the whole vest, and he'll get right close, almost contact. There is slight contact, and the 11 moves up, trying to defend for that 1 position, might lose 2, as here comes Noah Steele on the back bumper of now the 11.
Yeah, that's just classic racing right there. Hang on my quarter panel in the corner. I'm going to hang it on your quarter panel and slide you up the racetrack on entry. So Forbes getting a little taste of his own mess, and they're racing hard, but now he's going to be trying to storm back there. Is Wilson going to get on his quarter panel, and you're going to see this action continue on as this hard racing is coming down to the end.
Back and forth, Zach Wilson trying to claw his way into the 4th place and maybe more, but that 51, he's beaten and battered and bruised, but still looking pretty good at the moment. Just want to give an update as, oh boy, almost that outside wall for the 51. But for that, Thomas Green, fresh tires, he's now up to 13th, Zach, as we're closing in to our final stat of 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and he's putting down some pretty quick laps, just as quick as our leader. So showing he's getting through the field pretty quickly here. He'll try to get it done, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time and enough room here to get through this traffic quick enough, but he's going to try to make it happen here and pray like as quick as possible.
Trying his best, trying to get by the 01, but with every pass you make, you use up a little bit more tires. 01 trying to hold off the best that he can for Thomas Green, as well for his team and the Planet Sims. Got to say, for both those drivers, they've built a reputation of drivers wanting to defend and push them back. So I'm not surprised by the aggressive defensive positioning for the 01 as they're trying to get by Kyle Rochelle. Rochelle, part of a couple of wrecks here tonight. Looking good. Oh no, Rochelle!
I won't say he hangs on to it, but hopefully everybody here makes it through as everybody's timing by Rochelle, and all of them hold on to it. Great job by them and Kralik and Rochelle to hang on there, but they'll lose out major time.
Went from trying to just stay right outside the top 10 to now outside of the top 15 for the 01. He's back to 20th. And for Kyle Rochelle, he is in 15th position. And in the heart of the chaos is now going to be the drivers that felt so secure battling with one another. But Rochelle now has to hold off. Here comes Dakota Moniz to the inside.
Yeah, Dakota Moniz trying to make something happen here in the 5 machine late in the going. He's got, I believe, some tires on that machine too. Is trying to make it happen here as they come through the field, but it's definitely still a stack up there. There's a wrecking back there. I think it's Kralik going around.
Impressive. Oh, it's Roy Ferraro. Another late block. Late hit's going to be for that Nick Crawford. The yellow flag flies. And Zach, with the timing of this caution, will be in that range of 10 to 11 laps to go when we go green again.
Oh man, this is definitely opened up the door for some interesting strategies. But I gotta say, I don't think you pit here, but we'll see what happened here to Ferraro.
Gonna be diving it down low, and I'm imagining this is gonna be the drivers in front of him. Yeah, they're already wrecked. That's again Kralik and Ferraro and Hicks all late into the incident, and then Freed just drops it down low to get by, and then he'll drift up, hoping not to hit the outside wall, and just locks her down, and able to get moving again as drivers out of this race. Robert Schmock for that of the 60. With being involved and around some of that damage, he has been disqualified for too many incident points. Hicks has now gotten a required damage flag for the 86, which that's his second one of the race. I think this could be a race ender now. And now the drivers get set up, stacked up, and I think the call that you made, a lot of drivers deciding to stay out, but Mark Whitley, Kerry Tribune, Kyle Rochelle, and a bunch of drivers further on back do coming to pit road.
Yeah, actually, a good portion of them do. Is I'm trying to watch and see exactly how many stay out right here. It looks like 18 drivers going to be out still on the racetrack, while the rest of the group on the lead lap comes down here to try to get service done on the race cars. And whew, this is going to be interesting. I don't think this is going to get you anywhere close to the lead. I just don't feel like you got enough time or track position to do it. But I will say it's going to make it interesting for that middle part.
Now, the one thing I want to throw out that I'm interested on the chat, people that are watching in the audience, do you feel like we're going to be going into overtime? Again, these drivers do have overtime attempts. We've got 3 in total if needed. And the question is for these drivers, will we have to go into overtime or can we finish this race out? Again, we're expecting these drivers to be given the indication of around that of I would say that of 12 to 13 laps to go, maybe even less than that when we go green. And now with drivers with fresh rubber, know that they're going to be sending it as hard as they can compared to those that are up front.
Yeah, we've seen that last restart there, Sam. It's going to be interesting. Reed really lost out last time, so we'll have to see how he does better here with this. But you folks are definitely not going to want to tune away because you're going to hear the post-race interviews we got after this race. It's going to be a fun post-show talking to our top 3 finishers.
Well, you better get yourselves prepared if you're an audience member. Go to the bathroom really quick if you need to. Get some food, get some snacks, because you're about to see a show here right now. Share the stream, like it, so we can get more people and more eyes on the madness that we're preparing to see on who's going to win here at Gateway, as the sponsor for this race was the 25 of Cody Reed. He felt so confident and comfortable about this race that he could potentially get his first official win in this race here, Zach. I might be putting too much confidence into the 25, but he certainly put it out there. This race sponsored and known as the Cody's Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. I mean, that's putting a lot of pressure into one race when you put your name on it.
Yeah, that that definitely adds to it for sure. When you put your name on it, you better go out there and do good in that race. And I would say do good is far less than what he's done tonight. He has been excellent personally, been up front battling for this win, and it shows that Blackjack Racing team, they came prepared, man. That's what you got to think really take away from this. Look at the 3 teammates there, the preparation for tonight. If you can't prepare like these guys, they're going to come out here week in and week out and be able to put a show on like this. So we'll see how it works out the rest of the season for them here. But Gateway has definitely went well for that group there and that team. So we'll see how this restart works too. Because like I said last time, Forbes really won out there on the top side. But my question is, are they planning to do something similar here where Forbes, hey, you take the second spot here, get a great restart on this top, it bottlenecks up this inside for Nick Crawford, then Forbes lets the 25 back by. I think maybe that's the game they were playing last time, and Forbes just didn't want to give up that spot to Crawford, but we'll see here, man, because this is in the same boat, in the same position, but with some guys on new tires there. Thomas Green, he's going to be the one looking to go forward.
As this is the 3rd season of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, the front 2 right now, Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, and then John Forbes going to be in 3rd. Those are all teammates from Blackjack Racing. And all 3 of those drivers, they have been a part of this league since season 1. They've been fast, they've been quick, but it's going to be that of Ethan Smith and the 00 that's been the fastest so far, tied with the most starts in ISRC history, and trying to go for win number 4 of his career. Green flag back in the air, and it's going to be finding us with that of 12 laps to go as drivers race through turns 1 and 2. Is the 00 with the best launch for himself.
Yeah, and Reed is there in the second position there coming out of 2. And it looks like he'll be able to hold on to that ahead of Forbes. There's their 1, 2, 3 down the back straightaway, heading to 3. It's looking good, though, for that Blackjack Racing group.
Again, driver that has got some fresh rubber and trying to be advancing. Watch out for the 15 of Thomas Green. He's going to be back in 8th place. If we stay green for the rest of this run, he could be a factor for at least cracking the top 5. I don't know if he's got the speed, though, to battle for our leaders. It has been Blackjack Racing for the majority of this run, but further on back, you see the battling for drivers outside of the top 10. Christopher Norris, Carl Pooler, Danny Cochran, they're beating and banging coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Norris trying to hang on to a good finish here. He's had such a good run all night, but look at that Cochran pushing the 71. Now going to dive through the inside here. And, oh, Shaw going to try to get a little bit aggressive there to look to the inside of Norris, but Norris going to close that door there as that battle continues on.
Now going to be seeing that Danny Cochran. He might be beaten, battered, and bruised, but he certainly still has the speed underneath the 31. 10 laps to go, Zach. And it's all eyes for a majority of these drivers in the middle of the field where they're going to go. But up front, it's still the 3 teammates from Blackjack Racing. 1, 2, 3. And Nick Crawford might be trying to tackle on how to go after the 11. Oh, no! Contact! Kyle Rochelle, others, they're spinning, they're wrecking, but no yellow is thrown. We stay green. No, there's the yellow.
And there it is. Oh, GT is sorry. Major damage for Ferraro. And this one again is... Ooh, Kyle Rochelle, they're involved also.
Kyle Rochelle going to be around the catalyst for this incident to come out. But Zach, caution number 12. Where this caution, the timing of it, we're going to still stay inside of regulation to finish this race inside of our 125 laps.
Yeah, it looks like we will. Is you see right there the contact. It looks like Brakey there crossing back under to go to the inside of Rochelle. Just a little bit of missed timing, and the closing right between those two, trying to get to that inside, just clips the back bumper. And from there, Rochelle goes for a ride, and drivers from behind there just can't miss. His ears already right into the door of that 21.
There's the 23 of Tanner Johnson. TJ's not able to get away from that cleanly, but immediately calling it a night after that incident. Ryan Ferraro, GT Rizzari, they are done. They have already pulled it to the garage and have left the server. Drivers that have required damage going to be Logan Brakey in the 29 after incidences with that contact. Trenton Jump's going to have a black flag that he's going to have to serve. As drivers, some coming into pit road, the majority of them were drivers that were going to have to get some service done. But one I'm surprised by, Carl Pooler, that was running around 10th place into pit road for the 71 that was looking for one of his best finishes besides a Talladega finish of 4th place. I mean, 3rd place for himself, was looking for one of his best finishes at a non-super speedway course.
Yeah, that was a bizarre strategy there. So, man, I'm kind of flabbergasted by that, Sam. There is really no reason to come down this late in the race. You're not going to make up that amount of ground to where you were at right there. And Carl, I think at the end of this race, is going to go back and questioning that pit call there from himself. So, unfortunate for him. Looks like not going to be looking to get that career best finish here tonight.
As well as going to be having that of Shaw, going to be coming into pit road, and Gio Turpin getting service done. And now going to be seeing how the drivers are going to reset, stack it back up. Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, John Forbes. It's been the same call, really, Zach, up front on where drivers are at. Nothing really has changed. So I'm curious if anything will. I mean, how is Nick Crawford supposed to battle these drivers when you've got that of teammates, 3 of them all in line, all under communication? It's going to be a tough restart for that 4.
Yeah, this one sets up a little different, though. It'll be interesting to see what Ethan Smith's call is here for lane selection, because the last 2 restarts we've seen, it's been Ethan Smith taking the outside lane, Cody Reed restarting 2nd on the bottom, Nick Crawford restarting 3rd in the bottom lane there, and then John Forbes restarting on 4th on the outside. Here it's going to be a little different. Nick Crawford's going to be up top here on the outside, I wonder if Ethan Smith, and because his teammate of Forbes is on the bottom, will he elect to do something a little different? Restart on the bottom lane here to give that advantage to Forbes to allow him to get ahead of Crawford in the 4, or will he stick to what he's been doing all night and restart from that top lane? A lot of questions, I think, to be asked from that group.
Well, we talked to our leader of Ethan Smith earlier. Hey, we got the 4 machine. That might be a good driver to talk to. Talked about our thoughts on how he might be able to attack. Well, let's get Nick Crawford's point of view. Nick, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, up in the booth, we're questioning how do you feel trying to battle out the teammates in front of you? From your point of view, what can you do to try to beat these guys?
Well, I'm gonna send John into turn 1. It's gonna take out Ethan and hopefully accordion into Reed. Or I just have to hope for them to wreck each other because they're all on the same team and they're planning the restarts. So, and with this few amount of laps left, it's kind of hard to catch back up.
Yeah, Nick, we've seen, like this, like you said, playing the restarts there. It looks like Smith's going to take that bottom lane. So how do you feel restarting here on the outside this time with the leader on the bottom?
Just got to be aggressive. That's been the whole mentality today. Mute everybody else and then just drive hard. And it seems to be working so far, so I'll keep doing it.
We hope for the best luck for you, Nick, as we'll let you get back to your team. But good luck here tonight.
Bye.
As that was the 4 machine and Nick Crawford, part of that Snowy Desert Racing team. As drivers are stacked up, ready to go. Ethan Smith, Cody Reed, John Forbes, Nick Crawford, Zach Wilson, Noah Steele, Thomas Green, Ollie Fonseca, Danny Cochran, and Jared Talmadge going to be the front runners to watch out for. Mark Whitley did come into pit road. That of 2 cautions ago. But does he have enough time? It's going to be 5 laps to go. If we get a caution, we go to overtime as Ethan Smith already gone for that of the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. They're side by side for a second, and Forbes got to hold on because here comes Nick Crawford trying to split the middle of the teammates, and they squeeze them, they touch, they wreck first, but they hold on Zach somehow.
Yeah, and Crawford, you're going to have the inside of the 25 machine. Now going to look to the inside, possibly of the 11, going down into 3. The aggression levels picking up their bump from the 4 into the 11. Here we go. Going to be coming to 4 to go.
So I think hypothetically joking on how he was going to get by these drivers, but right now he might have to use those elbows, make some moves. 4 laps to go, side by side, trying to get that 3rd place position. Nick Crawford's been there a time or 2, but Cody Reed overshoots it. Too much speed, and now drops the 5th place for the 25. It might be more.
Yeah, Wilson gets around him, and you're going to have another driver there looking behind him, Noah Steele, trying to make something happen. You got Thomas Green on the freshest set of tires right there on the backside of this group. Just can't make it happen with the wrecking.
Danny Cochran, they're spinning, they're wrecking, and many more going to be involved with this one.
Oh, man, not what you want to see there from these guys, but it looks like going around was that 24 Fonseca. Maybe some contact to help him there.
That was coming to 3 laps to go, which Zach, we're going to overtime.
That we are, and I think we got a little bit of the instant replay here, and I think you're going to get to see old 17 here at Talladega. Unfortunately, going to catch that rear bumper of the 24, and he's going to go spinning around. Danny Cochran, nowhere to go for him. He just sees 24 spun around in front of him. He's going to get a little bit of that. Unfortunately, I think, it looks like he just gets caught up in that a little bit somehow as Whitley comes into the picture too. Norris escapes by, but man, just a traffic jam there as Moniz. Oh, he's trying to get through.
Tries to drift, hold on, get on the brakes, and as well, Tyler Dangler going to be hard on the brakes, but coming back down, Fonseca hard into Tribute, into Carl Pooler, and as well, Eric Kralik coming to a halt as drivers feeling the hurt, feeling the damage, and it's going to be Kerry Tribute that gets the required damage flag. He'll have to come back into pit road for the 7 machine. As many other drivers, this is starting to get messy, as that is our 13th caution of the night, and this should be putting us, and it does. We are officially into overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime is a green-white checkered scenario. We've got 3 attempts if needed. If we get a white flag on our first lap, when we go green, we go into our 2nd attempt. If we get another yellow at that moment in our 2nd attempt, before we get the white flag, we go into attempt number 3. But if we get the white flag, Zach, gloves are out. Contact's okay. It's all about who crosses the line first.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be gloves off, and these guys are gonna be trying to do everything in their power to make something happen here. But man, oh man, it's gonna be a little issue now. We ain't got the 3 teammates, we got the 2 teammates. Is Reed now gonna be back in 5th? You got to feel for him, just missing that corner there. But what's gonna be the strategy for Smith? Does he elect to take the outside? Does he elect to take the bottom here? It's gonna be a questionable decision for him to make.
Well, here's the thing, right? So it's 2, yes, that are up front in our first 2 rows. They're going to try to time this restart the best that they can. But for Nick Crawford, who's going to be down on the inside 2nd row, he's still got to be worse than some of the teammates. He's still going to feel like the middle stuffing of an Oreo because he's got that of Cody Reed right behind him when we go green.
Yeah, and that's not going to help for sure at all either. Is again, I don't know what's going on with the face-offs here. These guys have been slowing down a lot and speeding up. Definitely some interesting pacing strategies they've got going on here, but definitely going to be interesting with Reed there on that bottom, like you said, there behind Nick Crawford. He's going to have the help of those guys talking through the restart.
Trying to just play some mind games potentially here. Also, I'm curious on if we continue at this pace. Is there a question on fuel for them? Or that could be some of the mind games that they're trying to play currently. Because going into overtime, this can extend the race much longer. And if we have to utilize all 3 attempts, fuel could be something that these drivers are questioning.
It really could come into factor. I mean, we don't know exactly how much fuel they have in the tanks of these trucks. Maybe some guys even underfueled a little bit to change the balance. So a lot of different things going on here, but man, these guys are going to have decisions galore all over the track. And I think Smith here, the way he's positioning himself, might be looking to take the outside lane on this restart. We'll see if the lights click off this time. Yes, they do. And he's going to be up top. So electing to take that top side, I think that's a smart call from him there to start up top. That'll give Forbes the best advantage for himself on the bottom there, having the help of his teammate. And then also that's going to stack up that group with the 51 and the 4 behind.
It'll be Ethan Smith, John Forbes, as well as Nick Crawford, Zach Wilson. And we're going to be seeing Cody Reed, Noah Steele, Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge, Mark Whitley, Christopher Norris. Going to be your top 10. How are the drivers going to be handling this restart for themselves? As Ethan Smith, he's been dominating, got the pole, trying to go coast to coast. But Zach Wilson, Nick Crawford might have some different ideals on this restart. Zach, we're about to get rolling. What are your thoughts as we're now in overtime?
Well, I tell you, it's going to get elbows out time right here, right now. The first attempt at one. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a few more attempts. So let's see who can pull it off. Can Ethan Smith finish this domination of tonight?
Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we needed some overtime. Let's see who's going to get the win here at Gateway. It's Monday Night Racing on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, and we're green for attempt number 1 in overtime. Down into turn number 1, Ethan Smith, John Forbes. They're clean, they're green, and it's going to be side by side with that of Nick Crawford and Zach Wilson. And it's Crawford with a poor center of the corner. Here comes Wilson trying to make the pass as they both wiggle away, but it's Blackjack Racing pulling away up front.
Yeah, and what they want to see is a white flag. They don't want to see anything other than that. Is Wilson diving it in there in front of Crawford. He's going to clear him for 3rd. As they're going to round out of 4, they're going to be looking for that white.
Open and see the white flag. If there's a caution before it, we go into attempt number 2, but across the line, it's going to be your Ride Rad white flag out there. This race is official. Ethan Smith, he's blinking. John Forbes going to be throwing an intent there and down into turn number 1. Now I'm going to be given an opening, and that one jolt, Zach, that gives it up. Ethan Smith's gone.
Yeah, Ethan Smith has got a huge gap here. I don't think Forbes is going to be anywhere near him as he's actually disappearing a little bit. As Reed comes down the track into Crawford there, there's going to be contact, and they're wrecking across the track.
Just absolutely causing mayhem. What a body slam. Not even trying to give an attempt for anybody else. It doesn't matter. It's teammates. 1-2. Ethan Smith winning the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125.
Wow, what a finish there. Great job by Smith pulling off a victory here. And after last week, he's going to love being in victory lane with just coming up short on that last lap.
And, man, an asterisk going to be for some of the drivers from 4th on back. It was, that's not the way a lot of these drivers wanted this race to handle. Nick Crawford, that was looking for a 4th place finish, he's going to go all the way back to 26th after being body slammed by Cody Reed.
Yeah, it was definitely Interesting, man. I a little surprised that look. I didn't know if maybe some of the wind maybe had a little bit of effect or something, but it didn't really. So it kind of just coming down into the floor there, and unfortunately the floor I don't think it could stop very well on the grass.
Well, let's give him some space, give him some action, and some burnout's going to happen with Ethan Smith as it's the burn it down here at Gateway. Congratulations to Ethan Smith, his 4th career win. And Zach, Ethan Smith has now officially become a driver that has won in all 3 seasons. That is, that's a great fact to have for himself, and the first driver to be able to say that he's done that.
Yeah, that's a big thing that carry for him there is burning it down now here is he's got to be super excited here to get this win after a dominant performance.
And I know he doesn't like to see it, but we might actually be able to have a look to go back at that Cody Reed incident with Nick Crawford as the burnouts continue on. But we're going to take an instant replay of this incident, and the main reason why is because of how just egregious it kind of was, Zach, on how this incident happened, because they're side by side, they're battling, but that little bit of an opening we were talking about the backstretch, as we take a little bit from an aerial view of this contact, Zach, I mean, you can kind of tell where both drivers' mindsets are at, but this is not the wreck you want to see on the white flag coming to turn number 3.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. Look, it's looking good right here at this point. I mean, just riding smooth, but I'm thinking Reed just reacted a little bit to the wall, because it's after the wall he just continuously just keeps coming down, and the 4's there. So I mean, unfortunate contact between those two, and that shoves the 4 down the racetrack at high speed, and he's going to hit the grass. And once he hits the grass, you're along for the ride.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do, and Nick Crawford comes back up, clobbers the 25. That Noah Steele has nowhere to go. Well, it was going to be a great run for himself. Also going to be seeing that of Talmadge able to beat and batter and be a battering ram to still come away with 4th place, but that's taking away some good finishes for drivers and just trying their best, pulling away, and then comes back down as Cody Reed in front of drivers, and that causes even another chain reaction. Oh, Cody,
Yeah,
your name's on this race. Can't be doing that type of stuff.
Yeah, unfortunate finish for him there, as it was a great and cool and epic gateway up to that point for him.
But teammates giving each other some bumps. This is how they're celebrating. We'll talk to our top 3. It's going to be these 2 of Ethan Smith in the 00, the 11 of John Forbes, and Zach Wilson, going to be in the 53 as Ethan Smith gets to celebrate with his teammates at the line. Congratulations to them, but we're going to step aside up here. We talked about that of 20 laps ago. We got the post-race interviews and the post-race show in just a few moments. We'll be right back here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Freaky Fast Broadcasting post-race show with Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, Robert Moyer in the production booth. As you just got to see race number 3 of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series here at Gateway for the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. As our top 3 ready for interviews, we got the 51 of Zach Wilson charging his way through. Great recovery and finding himself in that 3rd place. Of the booth, we got the 51. Zach, congratulations on a 3rd place finish, but man, what was going through your mind in those final couple of restarts?
A gift from God getting to restart on the outside. I'd been pinned in 5th for, I don't know, it was like 3 restarts there, and you just couldn't get anything going off the bottom. Those guys were ripping the top real well into 1 and 2, and we lucked up and picked up a spot there. And that last green white checker was able to restart on the outside right behind the leader. So I was able to make a move on the outside of the 4 there and then hold my ground all the way to the finish and bring us truck on P3 tonight.
Yeah, great run here tonight, Zach. Man, congrats on that. That was fun to watch you guys battling all the way down to the end. Some good momentum here for you tonight after this P3 finish. We head into Sonoma next week. How you feel about road racing?
Oh, I love some road course racing. I could sling this thing left and right all day long. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I think a lot of these guys around here have got good pace on road courses. So should be a really competitive race with a lot of passing and things. So maybe some fuel strategy will get thrown in there. You know how that can be on a road course, especially something as technical. I feel like as Sonoma can be, it's real easy to slip up there, and you don't have many places that you can run off safely. You know, you have a lot of dirt and sand traps that can really get you off guard and get you caught up in some mess if you ain't careful. So we're just going to try to keep the nose clean like we did tonight and continue to rattle off some good finishes. I know our first 2 races didn't really show what good races we actually had. We got caught up in some mess. You know, Daytona, I led the most laps that night and got taken out on a green white checker there, and then could never get out of the mess at Homestead. Just kept getting caught up. So it's nice to finally get a good finish for this 51 Team Watson Racing F-150.
Yeah, I mean, gotta say, Zach, you are certainly a driver to watch out for this season. We've seen you in other series that we've covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and those first 2 races, you've proven that you are a threat to watch out for. Congratulations on 3rd place. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, just big shout out to Team Watson Racing Setups. If for all your iRacing setup needs, you know, they're a no BS shop out there. So really like to support them and throw them out there. We got the most bad egg paint scheme in the field, if in my opinion. I know a lot of the guys around here really enjoy that. So big shout out to you guys for throwing this together and doing the great broadcast that you guys do every week. So we appreciate each and every one of you.
Well, thank you, Zach, and congratulations on a top 3 run, and good luck heading into Sonoma next week.
Thanks, guys.
As that's the 51 is Zach Wilson. We'll go to 2nd place, where we find ourselves with that of the 11 of John Forbes, as we got John up in the booth. John, what a run for yourself, 2nd place. But man, what was going through your mind for how this race was going? Having teammates around, you had that of Ethan Smith, you had Cody Reed, but when those final restarts, what was going through your mind trying to go for that win?
Yeah, we were all talking to each other, just trying to play it cool. I think I had 1 shot to get Ethan going into 1 on the last lap, and unfortunately he blinked out, so I couldn't see where he was, and he just spawned right back in front of me, and I just ended up blowing the corner. So it was good though. It was a lot of fun out there. The cautions made it stressful there at the end with bunching everyone back up and everyone just sending it into the corners. But it was a good run. Glad to be back up here in the booth. It's been a rough couple of weeks, even since last season ended. Just getting taken out in good runs, so finally able to have a good one here.
Yeah, I tell you what, John, it was definitely a wild race all the way down to the end, man. And you know, how big was it, and how crucial was it for what lane you were in for restarting? Because it seemed like it was like a merry-go-round there for a while with you guys changing positions back and forth with the restarts.
Yeah, we just looked at the guys behind us and saw who we didn't want to get up to the front, so we were just kind of changing off of that. And also, we wanted to stay not consistent, so no one knew what we were going to do. We were starting in different spots, back, forth, or just whatever. And it seemed to work out pretty good. We got great jumps every restart tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't end up great for Cody at the end there, but it's a good run overall.
And John, just for us of the booth, we were scratching our heads on that final restart. We thought you guys were playing some mind games. What was going on before you guys finally got stacked up when you were letting the pace car pull away and everyone was slowing down?
Yeah, we were talking, and then we did that thing where we're like, all right, it's the last restart, or probably the last restart. We did this on the last few, and we're like, all right, we're gonna play it smart. We're not gonna talk anymore. Ethan's not gonna give any calls for the restarts anymore, and just every man for themselves. Let's just not take each other out. So that was basically our strategy, basically the whole race, but especially when it gets down to the end of it, when it's time to win.
Well, John, congratulations on a second place finish here tonight, and good luck heading into Sonoma next week. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting every week. Always a great show. I want to thank my friends and family for watching every week. Sure, this can be a great broadcast watching. Looking forward to Sonoma next week.
That's going to be the 11 of John Forbes coming away with the second place finish. Congratulations on that, and good luck at Sonoma next week.
Thanks, guys.
As from second place, we go to Victory Lane, where we find that of Ethan Smith and a 00. And Ethan, I know you talked about trying to get your internet fixed, but you were having fun blinking out there. It seemed like a factor for some drivers behind, but man, how was it in your point of view out there on track?
For me, I only had a problem once or twice. I know my teammate John Forbes mentioned on that last lap or two that he had a problem. I didn't notice it at that point. I've been told by other drivers, because I did ask, that it was a little bit better. Hopefully, as the season goes on, I will actually be moving and I'll be able to get better Wi-Fi. But as far as I know, for me, it's been better. It was better than usual, so I'm happy with it.
Well, Ethan, I tell you what, man, congrats on the win, man, especially after last week. How does that feel to come back after losing that race on the last lap, finish in second, to come back here this week and get that victory at Gateway?
Oh, it feels great. I pushed really hard on the track at Miami, and I just got that right front really hot, and they were able to catch me, and it was a great finish. It was awesome. But here, I knew I was fast. I knew I can compete. Unfortunately, Danny had a problem. I know he'd be up here with us. And unfortunately for Cody, he ended up getting in an accident in the end. But this was, me and John, we stayed up front, and Cody stayed up with us this entire race up until the very end. So as a team, we did really good, and I'm very proud and happy we finished like this.
Ethan, it was something crazy. I was looking at the stats when we were coming into the race, just seeing who's won, who hasn't won in their career here in the ISRC. You are one of the drivers that has had the most starts out of anyone, and now you can say that you are the first driver that has won in all 3 seasons. How are you feeling about getting this win and heading into the rest of the season?
Oh, it feels great, but as I said, last season when I won at Kentucky during the playoffs, that it doesn't mean I'm going to go easy. I don't think this will be the last win of the season, and I'm hoping to go for more. I'm hoping to get more than 3. I got 2 last season, so I'm hoping to go for 3. I'm just going to do the best I can, and help my teammates when I can, and I'm all or nothing.
Well, when it comes to racing 3, it's certainly a great number. And Ethan, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
You guys for putting the broadcast on. You guys always do a fantastic job. Friends and family and anyone else that may be watching. Cody for sponsoring this event and for the paint scheme. Unfortunately, he didn't have the race he wanted. I wish he was up there with us, but he raced really well throughout the whole race, so I'm happy for him. We got some good stage points as a team. Blackjack Racing dominated this track, so hopefully this isn't going to be the only one where we do so.
Well, that is going to be your winner here tonight in the 00, Ethan Smith. Congratulations on the win here tonight, and good luck heading into Sonoma next week.
Thank you.
As that is Victory Lane, talking to our top 3. That was Zach Wilson, John Forbes, and Ethan Smith. Thank you for the drivers getting up in the booth with us. And Zach, certainly a wild night. For some, maybe it wasn't epic, maybe it wasn't cool, but for others, such as Ethan Smith and John Forbes, it felt dominating as Blackjack Racing was up front all race long. As we get to take a look here at our unofficial results, these could change up with some of the wrecks that we saw there late, but Ethan Smith, John Forbes, as well as Zach Wilson going to be your top 3. Jared Talmadge surviving that last corner incident, getting 4th place with his teammate Thomas Green going to be in 5th. Christopher Norris, 6th place for the 38. Recovering is Mark Whitley in 7th. Dakota Moniz gets 8th. Diddy Cochran recovering as well. He was 3 laps down at one moment to get 9th. Alexander Light gets 10th for the 97. And then, Zach, we look at the rest of the field. A lot of drivers that have been struggling in other races because of that late wreck that happened gave opportunities for some of their best finishes for their careers.
Oh man, no doubt. You definitely gotta shout out Christopher Norris there in that 6th place finish. That's great to see for him there. Able to pull that off there. But yeah, I mean, if you look through the rest of the list, it's gonna be some upset drivers, man. So there's a lot of people involved in incidents tonight, and I look at a few of them that really could have been great finishes there. Nick Crawford in 24th, Cody Reed there in 25th, both battling for that 4th and 5th position coming down to the end, getting involved in it. And man, just an unfortunate ending to that race there for those guys. But definitely a wild night here at Gateway as we head to Sonoma next week.
Sonoma is going to be crazy to see who's going to be the dominant driver to watch out for. Danny Cochran, winner of the last time we were at Sonoma, based off a fuel mileage decision for the 31, but it could be some other threats out there. Zach Wilson, Trenton Jump, as well as Isaac Shelley. I know that driver is wanting to get a rebound, but for tonight, Zach, a lot of cautions, but we made it to the end. Had to only use one overtime at set, but man, what were some of your thoughts here tonight?
Well, thoughts are the aggression level has been really high through the first portion of this season. We've had a lot of yellows, but I know a lot of drivers are going to be out there mad and frustrated and say, man, this needs to be fixed now, but, really out there with their pitchforks, really try to make stuff happen. But that's as the season goes on, this will clean up, man. This is the first couple weeks. People are learning each other. There's some people out there that might not be there for the rest of the season. I mean, it's an ever-changing, list of drivers. So we'll see how that plays out. And, a tough night here with cautions, but still a decent race here at Gateway. As we head to Sonoma next week, they ain't gonna have to worry about cautions, so they'll definitely have to just try to keep it on track and worry about them local yellows to stay away from any type of danger. So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull 40 trucks there also, because if we get 40 trucks in Sonoma, we're gonna be all over that place there in the desert.
Yeah, there is not going to be, it's going to be nonstop action for us and our camera crew to try to keep up with. But man, tonight, certainly we had a lot of action to keep up with. 13 cautions in total that put us into overtime for one attempt, where Ethan Smith found himself into victory lane. But this week has been the first week of us at Freaky Fast going to be in our 6 days in a row of constant action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're in the middle of this segment for ourselves, as that all started back on Saturday for the WSSR Cup Series. Then we had the Next Gen Cup Series for the 802 Series. Now here tonight was that of the ISRC Truck Series, but more action, debut race for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Going to be for that of the first race of the season for Full Send Racing tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we got coverage now on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as well as we're going to be seeing Wednesday with the Wicked Racing League, and Thursday we'll have that of the Stars and Stripes, finishing out our 6 races in a row. Then you get your break on Friday, and Zach, we're right back to 6 days in a row again.
Yeah, right back at it, man. I tell you, it's it's crazy to think what we've got going on now as time is going on, but it's going to be plenty of action out there. Like we always say, if you haven't hit that subscribe button or the bell notification button, you better hit it, because there's going to be plenty of racing to go around here on Freaky Fast.
And if you love the constant racing action we give you here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, remember to like the videos, share the videos, subscribe like Zach said. We want to get engaged, get your thoughts on how you like our production and how you think we can try to best it over the rest. But for tonight, racing action at Gateway, it was Ethan Smith finding himself into victory lane. Blackjack Racing, dominant. And how many more races can they be dominant as well? But next week, we go left, right, and go up and down. The verticality of road course racing at Sonoma. Who will survive? Who's going to get the win? Well, you got to be right back here next week on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But for tonight, congratulations, that 00 that you see on screen, for winning the Cody Super Epic and Cool Gateway 125. Race 3 is in the books. Who's going to win at race 4? Gotta find out next week for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hull, for Robert Moyer Jr., running productions, thank you for joining us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll see you on the next one.